Chapter 154. Be careful. Those two flirtatious women's cultivations are not simple. One of them is at the peak of the third order. Yang Lei reminded Night Sorrow. She looked at the two flirtatious women and felt anger in her heart. They were too disgraceful and too embarrassing for women. Night Sorrow nodded and extended his hand to knock on the silver fox cub's head. You better obediently lie down here. If you dare to run around, I won't want you anymore. Seeing that the silver fox cub was not moving, Night Sorrow carried his reincarnation spear and entered the valley. Seeing Night Sorrow enter, Yang Lei felt a little uneasy. She extended her hand to carry the silver fox cub that was still resisting and quietly followed behind Night Sorrow. When Yang Lei followed, Night Sorrow discovered it. However, he did not stop her as he knew that Yang Lei was worried about him. After advancing for a while, the scene that he saw made Night Sorrow's head buzz. The blood in his body also sped up as he saw an extremely terrifying and brutal scene. Not far from the entrance of the valley, there was a pile of bones. It was a pile of skeletons that was only skin and bones. The flesh and blood of the body were gone. Night Sorrow took a deep breath and calmed himself down. From the robes on the skeletons, Night Sorrow could confirm that these people were the missing villagers. Yang Lei went forward and pulled Night Sorrow, who was obviously emotionally unstable, out of the valley. Ninth Senior Sister. They are not humans. In the pile of skeletons just now, there were a few that clearly belonged to a teenager. Night Sorrow was very angry. I know, the matter is basically investigated clearly. Your mission is complete. Do you really plan to kill the two of them? One is at the middle of the third order and the other is at the peak of the third order. Yang Lei opened her mouth and said. She did not plan to make a move. Night Sorrow took 2 deep breaths and calmed himself down. If we just leave like this, there will be innocent villagers who will be harmed by them. Let me think about it. After thinking for a while, Night Sorrow calmed down. He knew that he was only here for an investigation mission. However, if he just left like this and waited for the Tianji Tower to give another mission to kill the 2 demonesses, there would be villagers who would be killed in the meantime. However, he could not kill them. It could be said that the chances were very slim and close to 0. Night Sorrow's eyes lit up and suddenly had an idea. Since they are inhumane and indifferent to life, then I will not be polite. 13. It's not about being polite or not. If those 2 women want to kill you, it is no different from pinching a chicken. Do you want Senior Sister to help you? This has nothing to do with the mission. Yang Lei didn't plan on letting Night Sorrow take the risk. No need. When we came, I saw a stalk of snake blood grass. Normally, it is nothing, but once it is burned, it will produce poisonous smoke. It will slow down the blood circulation of people and animals, and their qi will not be able to circulate. Night Sorrow said. This was what he found when he was approaching the small stream. The snake bloodgrass was a poisonous plant that was nourished by the poisonous blood of a dead snake. Then we will listen to you. Seeing that Night Sorrow had a plan, Yang Lei did not stop him. It was best if Night Sorrow could solve it himself. Night Sorrow returned to the small stream and tore the hem of his robe. He wrapped his hand and picked the snake bloodgrass, then returned to the valley. This time, he did not plan to enter from the entrance. He planned to sneak in from the side of the valley and see if there was a chance to poison them. Yang Lei followed behind Night Sorrow. She was still carrying the silver fox cub, but the silver fox cub was very unwilling. Following the slope of the valley, the 2 of them sneaked to the end of the valley. At the end of the valley, 2 women in bare clothes were making tea and chatting. In the innermost part of the valley was a cave. At the entrance of the cave, 2 strong young men were tied up. However, they were very weak and dispirited. It was obvious that they did not have enough qi. Big sister, do you mean that after we deal with these people, we should go somewhere else? The skinnier woman on the left asked. That's right. We can't stay here for too long. We've captured a lot of young adults in this town. If we continue to stay here, we'll easily attract the attention of others. If high-level cultivators come, we'll be in trouble. The woman with her hair down and her breasts almost exposed said. Then let's go further away and change to another place. Cultivating like this will increase our cultivation quickly. The skinny woman said. After drinking the tea, the 2 of them stood up. The woman with her hair down fed the 2 men a pill each. Then, the 2 women each carried 1 pill into the cave. After a while, the cave was filled with sounds that made Night Sorrow and Yang Lei blush. There were men roaring like beasts and women moaning. Looking at the original chapter? $2 Why Night Sorrow took the snake bloodgrass and wanted to throw it into the fire, but he was hesitant. Are you worried about those two men? They won't be able to live. Their essence and chi have been sucked dry. Even if they are saved, they won't be able to live for more than a few days. Yang Lei's face was red, but her words were filled with anger. After hearing Yang Lei's words, Night Sorrow's worries disappeared. With a flick of his right hand, he threw the snake bloodgrass into the fire. Because Night Sorrow used too much strength, the snake bloodgrass smashed into the fire. At this moment, the woman with her hair down dashed out of the cave without any clothes on. Yang Lei reached out one hand and covered Night Sorrow's eyes. With the other hand, she pressed down on Night Sorrow's head. The two of them lay in the grass on the slope of the valley. The woman scouted around, killed a mountain rat, and returned to the cave. That sound rang out again. Night Sorrow knew that he was too excited and used too much strength. Fortunately, the two women didn't notice. Night Sorrow took out a towel and a jar of wine from his storage ring. He wet the towel, covered his mouth and nose, and tied it behind his head. He also dealt with the silver fox cub, then looked at Yang Lei. Yang Lei knew that Night Sorrow's purpose was to stop the poison from corroding her body. However, she shook her head. At this moment, she had already used her chi to protect her body, so the poison couldn't corrode her body. Time slowly passed, and the sounds in the cave gradually quieted down. A moment later, two naked women, each dragging a man, walked out of the cave. The two men didn't make any sound, and some of their essence and chi were gone. Other than the fact that they were still breathing, they were no different from the skeletons outside. They directly threw the two men who were still alive on the pile of skeletons. The two women didn't care about them anymore. They went back to the fire and didn't put on any clothes. They just put on a simple gauze and sat down to make tea. The youngest, I don't feel so good. We'll leave tomorrow. Tomorrow, we'll leave here and change to another area. Why can't I use my chi? The woman with long hair said. After she finished speaking, her face changed. The other thin woman also looked at the woman with long hair in surprise. Chapter 155. The long-haired woman did not see anyone else. Now that something had happened, she instinctively suspected the other woman. Big sister, how can you say that about me? I really don't know. The skinny woman stood up and said. When she stood up, her body swayed a little. You don't know? Is it because I didn't give you that delicate and pretty little fellow yesterday? Are you upset? The woman with long hair roared harshly. Stop arguing, all of you scum. Scum of the human race, a disgrace of women. Yang Lei appeared and slapped the two of them in the face. Then, he didn't care that their clothes were untidy. He lifted his leg and kicked them viciously. He even kicked their chests and the vital parts below. Yishan could only turn around and not look. Hiss hiss. Following the sound of sword chi breaking through the air, the two women let out a short scream. Night Sorrow turned around and saw that Yang Lei had already beheaded the two women. Then, she pulled out the storage belts that were hanging outside their veils. I'll help you check. Don't take the unsightly things. Yang Lei took the two storage belts and threw some messy things on the fire. Then, she handed the storage belts to Night Sorrow. The storage belts were much lower grade than the storage rings. They did not recognize the owner. In other words, they could be used by anyone. Yi Shang took out the items inside the box. The two women did not have any treasures. Their messy clothes were burned by Yang Lei. Only some gold notes, a few bottles of pills, and a book were left. That pill might be an aphrodisiac. Don't eat it. Yang Lei reminded Night Sorrow. Harmony technique? That's what they cultivate? Just destroy it. Night Sorrow took the book and was about to tear it. Don't. I've heard of this cultivation method before. Actually, if one's heart is righteous and both husband and wife cultivate it together, the cultivation results are very obvious. However, they didn't use it in the right place and cultivated the evil side. Yang Lei stopped Yi Shan. GC * original chapter K section. O above W. 9th senior sister, if you want it, take it. In the future, you can follow senior brother-in-law to cultivate. Night Sorrow threw the book to Yang Lei. You're going to die. Keep it. Yang Lei blushed and threw the book back to Night Sorrow. All right. Whenever ninth senior sister wants it, just let me know. Night Sorrow nodded and put away the ancient book. Clean them up and collect their heads. Also, bring back a skeleton as proof of completing the mission. Is that appropriate? Night Sorrow didn't mind carrying the murderer's head, but he couldn't accept carrying the victim's remains. Use their dirty storage belts to put one in. Also, inform the people in town to collect the body. Yang Lei thought Night Sorrow didn't want it to be dirty and unlucky. Senior sister, I'm saying that it's better for people to be buried. It's not appropriate for us to torture their remains. Night Sorrow expressed his thoughts. We solved the problem for their town and avenged them. They owe us a favor. What's wrong with bringing them back as proof? However, there's a way to solve this problem. Bring the mayor and the people in town tomorrow and ask them to write a statement saying that they're not allowed to be so pedantic in the future. Yang Lei looked at Night Sorrow and said. Seeing that Yang Lei didn't force him, Night Sorrow smiled and put away the two demon girls' heads. The two of them didn't move at all and quickly left the valley. They rode the green condor and left with Tianyu. After all, the poisonous smoke from the snake bloodgrass was still there and it would take a while for it to disperse. After arriving in town, Night Sorrow and Yang Lei went to the mayor's house and explained the situation in detail. When the mayor heard that the problem was solved, he couldn't wait any longer. He immediately gathered the villagers in town and rushed to the location provided by Night Sorrow and Yang Lei. Night Sorrow and Yang Lei, who originally planned to rest, rode Tianyu and the green condor to the valley to wait. When the two of them arrived, the charcoal fire was extinguished and there was a gentle breeze. The poisonous smoke was no longer there. The mountain people were very fast on the mountain roads and they were familiar with the terrain. Night Sorrow and Yang Lei provided the location, so they arrived in an hour. When the villagers saw the remains and recognized their own people, they all burst into tears. The mayor was also very grateful to Night Sorrow and Yang Lei. Although he was sad, the hidden danger was solved. After letting the villagers deal with the aftermath, the mayor brought Night Sorrow and Yang Lei back to the town. He found the richest family to stay in and arranged for people to prepare food for them. Night Sorrow said that he needed proof and the mayor immediately agreed. Taking out a pen and paper, the mayor wrote down the situation at the scene. When Yang Lei asked the mayor to write, he only wrote about the corpses of the villagers and nothing about the two women. After recording, the mayor signed and put his handprint and seal on it. After the mayor went to do his work, Night Sorrow said, "Ninth senior sister, you asked the mayor to write this only to prove that the investigation mission is completed. There are still benefits for the two women? It's easy to deal with smart people. After you hand in this mission, ask if there are any follow-up missions. Ask if you need to kill the evildoer who absorbs Yang to replenish Yin. If you need to, take the heads and you can hand in the mission," Yang Lei said. "I understand what you mean. The problem is, how can we prove that the two heads belong to the murderer?" Night Sorrow asked, puzzled. "You can't be blamed for this because you can't see it." Just now, the two witches had just absorbed the essence blood and Yang Qi and had not refined it. The Yang Qi was rushing to the top. High-level cultivators can tell from the heads. Yang Lei explained to Night Sorrow. "So that's how it is. Then it's easy." Yishan gave Yang Lei a thumbs up. "Now you'd better pray that if there's a mission to kill witches, it's not higher than the bronze level. If it's a silver level mission, only I can earn points," Yang Lei said with a smile. Tianji Tower's system was very strict. Iron token holders could only take on iron level missions. Bronze token holders could only take on bronze level missions. On the other hand, high-level token holders could take on low-level missions. There's no difference whether you earn or I earn. The silver mission rewards are high, and you get more benefits, Night Sorrow said with a smile. "You're so open-minded. I don't know what delicious food they'll make for us. Tianyu and the green condor haven't eaten yet." Yang Lei said, "Your green condor is easy. Tianyu likes to eat cooked food." Night Sorrow had already let Tianyu out and let Tianyu catch the prey by himself. Yang Lei also let the green condor out. On the other side, Night Sorrow had already wrapped the towel around his mouth and ran it up to his neck. The mayor brought the townspeople to prepare food for Night Sorrow and Yang Lei. It was very extravagant. Night Sorrow saw the sadness on the villagers' faces. He simply ate with Yang Lei and went to rest and cultivate. He didn't want to see the villagers' forced smiles. Who wouldn't feel sad when something happened to their family? After washing up early in the morning, Night Sorrow and Yang Lei rode Tianyu and the Green Condor to Danding City. Night Sorrow was looking forward to seeing if there was a follow-up to this mission. Chapter 156. The next day, they returned to Danding Peak. During breakfast, Yang Lei told Aoi about the mission with Night Sorrow. "Io, demonesses are rare these days. Looks like 13 Eyes is quite lucky," Aoi said as she glanced at Night Sorrow. "Sixth senior sister, don't joke around." The scene was so creepy. "Those two women were like skeletons," Night Sorrow said with a bitter smile. Aoi smiled. "After you guys finish eating, go turn in the mission and see if there are any follow-up missions. If there aren't any, come back and rest." Night Sorrow nodded. He also planned to rest for 2 days because he needed to go into seclusion to level up. He had cultivated the Myriad Das Tome to the peak of muscle strengthening 2nd level and was about to break through. His Zhen Qi cultivation was very close to the peak of element gathering 5th level, and he could break through at any time. At Tianji Tower, Enforcer Dong was very happy to see Night Sorrow. He personally brewed tea for Night Sorrow and welcomed him. Normally, with his status, he didn't need to receive anyone. However, he felt that Night Sorrow had a lot of potential and was related to his young miss, so he was much more enthusiastic. Night Sorrow handed in the Ice Spring Water mission. Next was the investigation mission. There was no doubt about the Ice Spring Water mission. Night Sorrow told him about the investigation mission in Yundong Town. He also took out the mayor's certificate. Enforcer Dong looked at it and nodded. No problem. Looks like the situation is still very serious. We'll have to issue a follow-up mission later." "Do I need to contact the person issuing the mission?" Night Sorrow asked. "There's no need. The investigation mission was jointly issued by several towns near Yundong Town. If we continue with the mission, they won't be able to offer any rewards. The next mission is a regional mission. The Empyrean Terminus Tower will issue the mission at the cost of high points. Those who accept the mission won't receive any substantial rewards, but they will receive high points," Enforcer Dong said. "Then, Enforcer Dong, do you think I can accept it?" Night Sorrow asked directly without hiding anything. "This mission needs to be reported to the higher-ups. This mission is between bronze and silver. If you want to take it, I'll report it as bronze. But the points won't be low." Enforcer Dong explained to Night Sorrow. "All right, keep this quest for me," Night Sorrow said. I really have to hand it to you. All right. I will. I will also strive to get the mission to bronze rank," Enforcer Dong said as he looked at Night Sorrow with a knowing smile on his face. After chatting with Enforcer Dong for a while, Night Sorrow left. He did not accept any missions, as the remaining bronze missions were a waste of time. Besides, he still needed to make a breakthrough. After leaving Tianji Tower, Night Sorrow and Yang Lei strolled around the streets. Danding City was much quieter. There were many disciples of the Golden Fire sect, but they were all well-behaved. Carat S is the most new Q. Chapter 1. Chapter 2 Inch They won't behave unless they're beaten, Yang Lei said as she looked at the well-behaved disciples with disdain. Although they're well-behaved now, there's still a hidden danger. Our Medicine Valley won't allow the Golden Flame sect to meddle in this area. Similarly, the Golden Flame sect won't tolerate a spy in their territory. Yi Shang shared his opinion. Indeed, the problem will erupt sooner or later. But it won't be that easy, unless the Golden Fire sect is confident that they can destroy the Medicine Valley and resist the suppression of the other 6 superpowers, Yang Lei said. I hope the Golden Fire sect will stop before going too far. Night Sorrow nodded. Neither side could tolerate the current situation, and neither side wanted to fight. Night Sorrow and Yang Lei strolled around the city. Yang Lei bought some clothes, but it was Night Sorrow who paid for them. During this time, Yang Lei had been acting as Night Sorrow's nanny, and he felt bad about it. Yang Lei did not reject Night Sorrow's kindness and accepted it all. When he was about to go back, Night Sorrow saw 2 people. An old man was leading a young man. The young man's left arm was fixed with a jade splint, and his face was pale. Elder Qi, it's him. Kill him. The young man shouted when he saw Night Sorrow. The young man was none other than Zhang Peng, whose arm was chopped off by Night Sorrow, but his arm was now reattached. It seems like I didn't teach you a lesson. Last time, I told you not to provoke me. If you provoke me again, I'll take your life. Knight Sorrow took the reincarnation spear from his back. How could he be polite when someone wanted to kill him? Young man, don't be too vicious. If you want to die, don't talk nonsense, the old man with a long beard said. What a joke. He said he wanted to kill me, and now you say I'm vicious? Be careful before you speak. Knight Sorrow snorted coldly. You think I don't dare to kill you? She can't stop me. The old man looked at Yang Lei and said, I might not be able to stop you, but why don't you try touching him? If you dare to touch him, I'll make all the Golden Flame sect disciples in the Medicine Valley pay with their lives. Yang Lei waved her arm, and her green eagle flew up and circled in the sky. After being scolded by Yang Lei, the old man's face turned ugly. No one in the Golden Flame sect dared to talk to him like this. He wanted to attack, but he felt that it was not the right time. If he attacked today, the Golden Flame sect and the Medicine Valley would definitely go to war. But if he just endured it, he would lose face. Yang Lei stood in front of Knight Sorrow, and the energy in her body surged. She was ready to fight. She released the green eagle to show the Medicine Valley disciples. It would be enough if she could hold on for a while. Apologize. If you apologize, I won't make it difficult for you today. The old man looked at Yang Lei and said. He didn't want to fight, but he needed a way out. Apologize? You think too much. Today, it was the little trash beside you who said he wanted to kill people first. I'll accompany you in the Medicine Valley. Yang Lei said coldly. She would rather die than apologize. Yang Lei would never apologize. Are you forcing me to attack? The old man narrowed his eyes and said. Just as the old man was about to attack, people from the Medicine Valley arrived. It was Gong Xian. He was not far from this area, and when he saw the green eagle in the sky, he knew something was wrong. He asked Shi Tianlin to ask for help from the mayor's mansion, and then he flew over at full speed. Ninth junior sister, what's wrong? Senior brother, this old man wants to kill 13. Yang Lei said, and her eyes began to stare at the old man with a long beard. Those who have nothing to do with this, leave. Gong Xian took out his long sword. Someone wanted to kill Knight Sorrow, and he didn't ask for the reason. Whether he could win or not, he had to fight. Seeing Gong Xian directly order people to leave and at the same time take out his weapon, the old man knew something was wrong. This Gong Xian had no intention of being reasonable and negotiating. When the onlookers left, Gong Xian directly attacked. He waved the long sword in his hand, and a sword aura slashed fiercely at the old man. If he wanted to fight, he would fight. Even if he couldn't win, he still had to fight. This was the blood and vigor of the Taishan Peak. Chapter 157. The old man took out his saber and fought with Gong Xian and Yang Lei. The old man was Qi Tiancheng of the Golden Flame sect, so he understood the heaven-covering hand very well. Therefore, his body flashed and avoided Yang Lei, avoiding the battle between Yang Lei and Gong Xian. After a few head-on clashes, Gong Xian was always at a disadvantage and was forced to retreat every time. The three of them moved around and fought on the street. Saber Qi and Sword Qi slashed large holes in the buildings on both sides of the street. When Gong Xian and Yang Lei fought, Knight Sorrow also made his move. He brandished his reincarnation spear and attacked Zhan Peng. If you want to kill me, I'll kill you first. Seeing Knight Sorrow attacking, a long sword appeared in Zhan Peng's right hand and he stabbed it towards Knight Sorrow's chest. Knight Sorrow's reincarnation spear didn't change its momentum and continued to stab forward. At the same time, his true qi exploded and vibrating energy was poured into the spear. An inch longer was an inch stronger. If both of them didn't change their moves, Knight Sorrow's reincarnation spear would definitely pierce Zhan Peng's chest first. With a low roar, Zhan Peng swung the long sword in his right hand towards Knight Sorrow's reincarnation spear while simultaneously dodging. Ding! When the weapons met, the reincarnation spear vibrated and stretched out Zhan Peng's long sword while continuing to stab forward. Zhan Peng quickly retreated to avoid Knight Sorrow's attack. Now that his middle gate was open, he couldn't counterattack even if he wanted to. Knight Sorrow stomped his foot, causing stone fragments to fly. He quickly rushed forward and caught up with Zhan Peng. The reincarnation spear fiercely slashed towards Zhang Peng's chest. Zhang Peng's expression changed greatly. He tilted his body to the right to dodge. He dodged very quickly and also avoided his vital organs. However, the result was the same as last time. His left arm didn't manage to dodge. Night Sorrow's reincarnation spear flicked up and down, chopping off his entire left arm. After chopping off Zhang Peng's left arm, Night Sorrow followed up and kicked Zhang Peng's abdomen, causing him to fly several zhang away and disperse his true qi. After injuring Zhang Peng, Night Sorrow continued to charge forward and slashed his reincarnation spear at Zhang Peng. Stop! Qi Tiancheng was anxious. How could he watch as Zhang Peng was killed? Zhang Peng was the descendant of an important figure in the Golden Flame sect. He ignored the pursuit of Gong Xian and Yang Lei and rushed towards Night Sorrow. At this moment, Night Sorrow was facing a test. He could kill Zhang Peng first, but he couldn't dodge Qi Tiancheng's fatal attack. In a split second, Night Sorrow executed the Dragon Leap steps and flashed in front of Zhang Peng. He grabbed Zhang Peng with his left hand and placed the reincarnation spear's blade on Zhang Peng's neck with his right hand. After that, he turned around to face Qi Tiancheng. After doing all this, Qi Tiancheng was only 10 feet away from Night Sorrow. However, he didn't dare to move forward. The result of moving forward was that Night Sorrow would slaughter Zhang Peng. Come. Continue to come over and try it. Night Sorrow exerted force with his right hand and the reincarnation spear's blade cut into Zhang Peng's neck. Traces of blood flowed along the reincarnation spear's blade. Qi Tiancheng didn't move. He knew that Night Sorrow wasn't bluffing. He really wanted to kill Zhang Peng. Seeing that Qi Tiancheng didn't move, Night Sorrow carried Zhang Peng with his left hand and retreated to Gong Xian and Yang Lei's side. Qi Tiancheng, you're so mighty. Yu Yongyu appeared with 2 elders behind him. Night Sorrow knew one of them. He was the Peak Master of the North Pole Peak, Yen Beidu. The other one was the Peak Master of the Drifting Cloud Peak, whom Night Sorrow had met during the sect competition. Is he as mighty as your Medicine Valley? You directly attacked my Golden Flame sect's member. It seems like you really want to break off relations with me. Qi Tiancheng looked at Yu Yongyu and said, Yang Lei, what's going on? Yu Yongyu looked at Yang Lei and asked. Although Zhang Peng was in Night Sorrow's hands, it wasn't convincing to ask Night Sorrow. After all, Night Sorrow was still young. Slap! Yang Lei stretched out her hand and slapped Zhang Peng. I was shopping with 13th junior brother. It was him. He shouted at this shameless old man that he was going to kill 13th junior brother. Then he attacked. Then what's the point of keeping him alive? 13th junior brother. Kill him. Yu Yongyu said to Night Sorrow directly. Night Sorrow didn't reply verbally. He directly pulled out his reincarnation spear and cut Zhang Peng's throat. Yu Yongyu didn't look at Qi Tiancheng and directly taught his disciple in front of countless people. 13th junior brother. Remember one thing. If anyone wants to kill you, kill them back. If they want to kill you, what else do you have to worry about? Yu Yongyu, is this a declaration of war? Qi Tiancheng's face was livid. He pointed at Yu Yongyu and questioned him. Qi Tiancheng, what's the big deal about your Golden Flame sect's disciple yelling that he wanted to kill my Medicine Valley's disciple? What's the big deal about the Golden Flame sect's disciple flaunting his strength in Danding City? You have already declared war. What's the point of declaring war? Didn't you do the same thing? Yu Yongyu said coldly. There's a misunderstanding, Qi Tiancheng said. Now, let me tell you the Medicine Valley's attitude. We admit that the Medicine Valley is a subsidiary force of the Golden Flame sect. However, the Golden Flame sect's force is not allowed to interfere in any area of the Medicine Valley. 7 days. I'll give you 7 days. If the Golden Flame sect's disciple is still active in Danding City, the Medicine Valley will expel him. This time is enough for you to ask for instructions and report. We won't make things difficult for you, Yen Beibei said coldly. Expel. Qi Tiancheng, you know that as long as you resist, the Medicine Valley will kill you on the spot. Even if blood flows like a river, we won't give up the foundation left by our ancestors, Yu Yongyu said firmly. Men, take the corpse away. Qi Tiancheng couldn't vent his anger. He directly shouted at the Golden Flame sect's disciple who was rushing over. Qi Tiancheng was helpless now. He couldn't win if he wanted to fight. He could only report it to the Golden Flame sect. Be careful. Looking at Night Sorrow, Yu Youngyu said and left. Among his disciples, only Night Sorrow didn't have the ability to protect himself. Good job. Yang Lei patted Night Sorrow's shoulder and said, Thank you, ninth senior sister. Thank you, eldest senior brother. Night Sorrow nodded to Yang Lei and bowed to Gong Xian. If Night Sorrow was close to Aoi and Yang Lei, then he was respectful to Gong Xian. Translator, Zephizi editor. Dio Quinn, eldest senior brother, was scared to death just now. That guy went crazy and insisted on killing you. We couldn't stop him. Fortunately, you reacted quickly and captured the unlucky guy. Otherwise, we would have been in a passive position. Gong Xian was also a little scared. If Night Sorrow was a little slower, the situation wouldn't be optimistic. Night Sorrow's cultivation was at the second stage. In front of Qi Tiancheng, he was like a porcelain doll that would break at the slightest touch. Senior brothers, you're all here. Night Sorrow saw that almost all of his senior brothers were here. Wu Qi, Huanan, Huang'an, Lu Peng, Zhou Zheng, Tao Yuan, Mo Chen, and Shi Tianlin had all arrived. Shi Tianlin was following Gong Xian's arrangement to report to the City Lord Mansion. However, he wasn't as fast as Yu Youngyu and Yan Beibei. At this time, except for Aoi who was in the Longquan courtyard, all of Yu Youngyu's disciples had arrived. Chapter 158. He's from the other side, Yang Lei said. Hearing Yang Lei's words, Mo Chen's murderous intent subsided. Since all the senior brothers and sisters were here, Wu Qi suggested that they gather together. Everyone agreed. Gong Xian said goodbye to Chu Lingxiao and Yi Shuai. They were both members of the patrol team, so he had to inform them before leaving. Let's go. The next 2 days should be peaceful. If we want to fight, it'll be in a few days. I like this feeling. If we fight, let's fight to our heart's content. Chu Lingxiao said. At this moment, he was no longer gentle and refined. Instead, he was a hot-blooded warrior. Night Sorrow and Yang Lei went to buy some good wine before the group set off for the Dragon Spring courtyard. Aoi was surprised to see her senior and junior brothers. What's the occasion today? It's not a special occasion. We're just gathering when we run into each other, Gong Xian said with a smile. Aoi asked Hai Luo and Luo Wei to prepare some dishes, then led everyone to the garden to make tea. Everyone, prepare for battle. Ever since 13 killed that guy, the situation has been out of our control, Gong Xian said. What happened? 13 killed someone? Aoi looked at Night Sorrow in surprise. Master ordered him to do it. The Medicine Valley should be fully prepared for battle. Next, we'll see what the Golden Flame sect does. However, the possibility of a decisive battle isn't high because I received news that the Southern Dipper sect has attacked the Golden Flame sect. They've started an all-out war at the front line of the Green Cloud Mountain Range. If the Golden Flame sect fights us to the death, it'll make things worse for them. They might even be removed from the 7 superpowers, Gong Xian said. That's good. I heard that the Southern Dipper sect is stronger than the Golden Flame sect. The Golden Flame sect has no reason to provoke the Southern Dipper sect. Did they really eat too much? Aoi said. Everyone was familiar with the situation in the Eastern Xian domain. The Southern Dipper sect had a long history, even longer than the Golden Flame sect. They controlled an area of millions of square kilometers. The other 7 superpowers were very restrained. There would be small-scale conflicts, but they would not escalate the situation. My master told me about it. It seems that the grandson of the vice-sect master of the Golden Flame sect met the young miss of the Southern Dipper sect when he was training in the Green Cloud Mountain Range. He then flirted with the young miss of the Southern Dipper sect and was crippled. As a result, a conflict broke out. Do you think the Southern Dipper sect will tolerate this? They declared war directly, Gong Xian explained to everyone. The Southern Dipper sect is really something. The people of the Golden Flame sect are too despicable. They have to beat them up, Yang Lei said. While they were chatting, Hai Luo, Luo Wei, and the other girls served the dishes. 13. Where did all these beauties come from? Your senior brothers are all single. Tao Yuan said with a smile. Aoi then told him about Night Sorrow's quest to save the girls. Not bad. You have a bright future ahead of you, Tao Yuan said as he patted Night Sorrow's shoulder. Don't talk nonsense. 13 might have someone he likes. Yang Lei glared at Tao Yuan. When the dishes were served, Night Sorrow began to set the table. He had bought a lot of good wine today, and he also took out 2 jugs of Bamboo Garden Village's Uncle Nyo's wine. He really did not have any left. While they were chatting, Little Six came in with an old man. Chief Steward Su, what brings you here? Gong Xian greeted him. Su Zhonglin was the chief steward of the outer disciples of the Taishan Peak. Yu Yongyu didn't have any outer disciples, but he still had other elders. He still needed the chief steward to manage the odd job disciples and the business of the Taishan Peak. It's like this. A caravan came from South Sky City. They have 13's goods, so I sent them over, Su Zhonglin said. Su Zhonglin was the chief steward of the outer sect, and his status was equal to the second-generation disciples. So he could directly address Night Sorrow by name. Then let's go and see what goods they have. Emochen was interested. It's wine. The South Sky City Chamber of Commerce put it in a storage belt and sent it over. Su Zhonglin took out 3 storage belts and handed them to Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow took the storage belt and took out the wine. He placed it on the side of the garden. There were more than 30 jugs and a few sets of linen robes. After returning the storage belt to Su Zhonglin, Night Sorrow touched the linen robes. His eyes were a little wet. He recognized that the robes were made by Auntie Lin. He had worn Auntie Lin's clothes since he was young, so it felt familiar to him. The people from the Chamber of Commerce also brought a message. They said that Zhuyuan Town's construction is very good, so you don't have to worry. You can go back and take a look if you have time, Su Zhonglin said. Thank you, Chief Steward Su. Please sit down and drink. Night Sorrow put the robes into his storage ring and cupped his hands towards Su Zhonglin. I really can't. I still have a lot of things to take care of. Taishan Peak is preparing for war. I have to go to the various medicine shops. Next time we will drink together. Su Zhonglin cupped his hands towards everyone and left. Wanli came to deliver wine for you. This wine is very expensive, so the transportation cost won't be low, Wuxia said. Last time, 13 had people bring back some gold notes. The people of Zhuyuan Town have no problem living. Yang Lei shook her head. She knew that Night Sorrow brought back a lot of gold notes. It was enough to build several Zhuyuan towns. Old 8. What are you doing? Aoi shouted at Shi Tianlin, who was secretly moving the wine. I was worried that 13 would become an alcoholic and delay his cultivation. I just wanted to help him get rid of some of it, Shi Tianlin said embarrassedly. Old 8. You are too disloyal. It is better for everyone to share. Night Sorrow's 7th senior brother, Zhou Zhang, reprimanded Shi Tianlin. And let's share it. Night Sorrow said. Old 7, Old 8. You two are too shameless. You want to share it? That wine was delivered from Wanli, and you want to share it? Each of you can only take 1 jar. If you take more, I will chop off your hands. Aoi glared at the 2 of them. Shi Tianlin was a little depressed as he took a jar. Everyone else also took a jar. Gong Xian was no exception. This was the atmosphere among the disciples of Taishan Peak. Everyone would fight for ordinary things. However, if it was expensive, no one would fight for it. Their relationship was no different from that of brothers and sisters. Come, drink. Let's get this done quickly. Don't let Chu Ling Xiao and Yi Shuai busy themselves in Danding City. They won't be able to cope. Gong Xian opened the jar and began to drink and eat. Forever. Forever exempt from looking at 8 small. Speak. Senior brother, when you leave, bring 2 jars to master. Although they are not good wine, Night Sorrow said to Gong Xian. Okay, I will bring them over after we finish eating. Gong Xian nodded. He admired Night Sorrow's attitude. The wine was not good, but it was filial. Chapter 159. You all know the situation. The Valley Master has been in seclusion to seek a breakthrough. This time, the Supreme Elder and I want Yongyu to preside over this matter. Do you all understand? The Great Elder knocked his walking stick on the ground and said, I may be estranged from Peak Master Lu on other matters, but when it comes to the interests of the sect, I will obey him unconditionally. Yuan Tai, the Peak Master of Wangyun Peak, stood up and declared. Greenstone Peak has no problem either. Dai Tongyan also stood up. The other Peak Masters also expressed their support. Except for Su Chenbai of Ninein Peak, who was still a little squeaky, the others were all united. While Su Chenbai was squeaking, Qian Wu directly smashed the armrest of his chair. If Grand Elder hadn't stopped him, he might have exploded on the spot. In the past, Qian Wu supported Su Chenbai, but that was a normal competition. A sect without competition would be a stagnant pool and would be eliminated. However, this didn't mean that he would tolerate Su Chenbai's inaction when the sect was in danger. Next was the mobilization of the Medicine Valley's manpower. Yu Yongyu arranged the main forces of the 8 peaks to guard the city gates. In other words, every 2 peaks would guard an area near one gate of Danding City. The remaining 4 peaks, Taishan Peak, North Pole, Danding Peak, and Wuwei Peak, continued to patrol Danding City. As for the areas of influence in other cities, the sect elders and protectors had already taken care of them. This was arranged by Grand Elder. Currently, the Medicine Valley's outer forces were under Grand Elder's control. Yu Yongyu was in charge of Danding City's area. If a war broke out, the Medicine Valley's most important areas to defend were Danding City and Danding Mountain. If these 2 areas were not lost, they could still fight back. If the Golden Flame sect wanted to take over the Medicine Valley, it would be useless to take over the scattered areas. Danding City and Danding Mountain were the key areas. If the Golden Flame sect wanted to take over these 2 areas, they would have to mobilize most of their forces. In this case, it would be hard to say whether they would be attacked by other forces. This was also the reason why the Medicine Valley was not afraid. They had the courage to fight a bloody battle. With the current situation of the Golden Flame sect, the Medicine Valley felt that they would not lose. After the arrangements were made, all the peaks went to work. All the elders also left, but the Great Elder left behind Yu Yongyu, as well as the Peak Masters of the Cloud Sea Peak and the North Pole Peak. According to the arrangement, Duan Lei, your Cloud Sea Peak and Ninein Peak will guard the south gate. Be more vigilant. A strong fortress is not easy to break from the outside, but it is easy to break from the inside, the Great Elder said. This. Duan Lei understands. Duan Lei hesitated for a moment before bowing to the Great Elder. North Pole, pay more attention to the south gate when you're patrolling. The Great Elder said to Yen North Pole and sent the 2 away. Only the Great Elder and Yu Yongyu were left in the hall. According to the news from the Golden Flame sect, one of the 11 Peak Masters in our Medicine Valley is a member of the Golden Flame sect, and he is a direct descendant of the Golden Flame sect's top management. He has been sent here since he was young. I've made some calculations and initially thought that Jin Kan and Su Chenbai were the most likely suspects. After a few years of investigation, Jin Kan has been ruled out as a suspect, the Great Elder said. So it's Su Chenbai? Yu Yongyu said angrily. It's almost confirmed. But we don't need to pay attention to him for now. It's a pity that the Second Elder has cultivated him, the Great Elder said with a sigh. Does the Second Elder know? Yu Yongyu understood that this was definitely a blow to the Second Elder. The Second Elder, Qian Wu, had a violent and upright personality. Now that he had a traitor disciple, once he knew, it would be hard for him to accept it. Yes, I know. If you didn't stop him, he would have killed Su Chenbai. He was holding back just now. The Great Elder nodded. Although we had some conflicts in the past, I didn't expect this to happen. Yu Yongyu was also shocked. This is the seed that the Golden Flame sect planted in the Medicine Valley. If you didn't stand in front of him and he really took the position, you can imagine the situation in the Medicine Valley, the Great Elder said with some lingering fear. Now there was a consensus in the Medicine Valley that the future Valley Master would be Yu Yongyu. This could be seen from the fact that the crisis in the Medicine Valley this time was led by Yu Yongyu. The Valley Master of the Medicine Valley, Hua Yunpeng, was originally the Valley Master of the Wuwei Peak. When the old Valley Master stepped down, Hua Yunpeng took over from the Wuwei Peak to the Danding Peak. The motto of the Wuwei Peak was to not fight and pursue the concept of inaction. Therefore, after Hua Yunpeng took over, he didn't manage the affairs of the sect and had been pursuing his own breakthrough. Otherwise, the Great Elder wouldn't be so busy and would have entered the worship pagoda to cultivate. Then we should keep him for now. Keep this root of trouble? Yu Yongyu said with a frown. Keep him for now. He has his uses. After all, there are some messages that we need him to deliver. For example, this time, the Medicine Valley will fight to the death. If the Golden Flame sect knows about it, will they dare to act rashly? The Great Elder said with a smile. Yu Yongyu nodded. In the Eastern Profound Domain, or even the entire 9 regions and 18 states, if a big force wanted to annex a small force, they often relied on deterrence rather than fighting to the death. In a real fight, even if they carried out the annexation, the losses would be great and the gains would not make up for the losses. At present, the Golden Flame sect and the Medicine Valley were in the same situation. Great Elder. There is another problem. The 12 peaks are the distribution of the main forces of the Medicine Valley. They are also the places where we cultivate talents. If Suchen Bai, this malignant tumor, is not removed, then won't the 9 peak be ruined? Yu Yongyu didn't want to see the Medicine Valley's strength fall. This problem needs to be solved. He is a member of the Golden Flame sect. Only his true confidants will know. The other disciples of the 9 peak won't know. At present, there are only a few people who have been corrupted by him. When this problem is solved, we will transfer him away from the 9 peak and find a suitable replacement. The Great Elder explained his plan. Only one true edition hashtag, the others are all Pirate Plus edition hashtag. Yongyu understands. The Medicine Valley needs time. At present, the Southern Dipper sect is holding back the Medicine Valley. But what about later? When the Golden Flame sect resolves the conflict with the Southern Dipper sect, they will still come back to target us. Yu Yongyu wasn't worried about the current situation, but he was worried about the future. You are right. However, 2 of the Great Elders have gone to the Southern Dipper sect. One of them is acquainted with a senior member of the Southern Dipper sect and has a relationship with him. The other one helped the vice sect master of the Southern Dipper sect refine elixirs in the past. As a favor, I hope the Southern Dipper sect can hold back the Golden Flame sect from behind when they attack us. The Great Elder said. I see. I hope it will go smoothly. Yu Yongyu sighed. Why did he ask for help? It was because the Medicine Valley wasn't strong enough. In the past, they didn't have the Holy Cauldron scripture. Too many people were stuck at a bottleneck and couldn't break through. Now that the Holy Cauldron scripture had been found, the Medicine Valley needed time. With time, they wouldn't have to be afraid of the Golden Flame sect's provocation. Chapter 160. Hua Yunpeng had already decided to abdicate. The only reason he had been holding on to the position for the past few years was because there hadn't been a suitable candidate. Then what does Grand Elder think? Yu Yongyu pondered for a moment before asking. Tell me your opinion first. The Grand Elder smiled. This could be considered a test for Yu Yongyu. If we're talking about seniority and prestige, the elders would naturally be the best choice. But the elders are already very old. If they were to manage a peak, they would be too lifeless. It wouldn't be suitable. Yu Yongyu only spoke half of his opinion. Your opinion is very good. There are no problems. Once the situation stabilizes, we'll make arrangements for this. I'm also tired. The Valley Master's ability is great, but his heart isn't on this. The Grand Elder stood up. In the Dragon Spring Monastery, after drinking some wine, Knight Sorrow greeted Yang Lei and Aoi before going into seclusion to attack the 3rd level of muscle strengthening. Gong Xian and the others had already gone to Danding City to patrol. Yang Lei didn't go because of Yu Yongyu's instructions. Breaking through to the 3rd level of muscle strengthening wasn't difficult for Knight Sorrow at all. All he had to do was strengthen the tendons in his legs. With the leopard embryo muscle strengthening pill as a backup, it took him less than 4 hours to complete. Whether it was in the blood refining realm or the muscle strengthening realm, strengthening the tendons in the legs was the easiest. Over the next 2 days, Knight Sorrow used this time to stabilize his cultivation base. After stabilizing his cultivation base, Knight Sorrow greeted Yang Lei and Aoi before going to Tianji Tower. 3 days had already passed. He wanted to go ask Law Enforcer Dong about Yundong Town's follow-up mission. Hearing that Knight Sorrow was going to Danding City, Yang Lei didn't allow Knight Sorrow to refuse and followed along. Hashtag 2P Permanent, H Free /K Read Novels. 9 now, Night Sorrow was the treasure of Taishan Peak as well as the face of Medicine Valley. If Night Sorrow was killed or injured by the disciples of Golden Flame Sect, Medicine Valley would lose face. After passing through layers of blockades set up by the disciples of the Medicine Valley, the two entered Danding City. They took a beast carriage and arrived at Tianji Tower. After asking the service staff to inform him, Night Sorrow waited for Enforcer Dong. After Enforcer Dong appeared, he brought Night Sorrow into the private room. Yang Lei sat in the hall, drinking tea and waiting. She knew that Enforcer Dong had a good relationship with Night Sorrow, and she also knew about the relationship between Enforcer Dong and Sikong Chuyu. In the private room, Enforcer Dong took out the mission list. This time, it's not bad. The mission I submitted is a special bronze mission. It's a team mission. Of course, you can also accept it alone. Otherwise, it would be a silver mission. Night Sorrow took a look and was stunned. The mission points for killing the witch were 5 times more than the investigation mission. How is it? Although there are no gold notes or resources, the points are very high. It's better than the average silver mission, Enforcer Dong said with a smile. Then I'll accept it, Night Sorrow said. Are you planning to submit it later? Looking at Night Sorrow, Enforcer Dong asked with a smile. I'll submit it now. Night Sorrow took out the storage belt with the heads of the 2 witches and handed it to Enforcer Dong. Based on your character, I knew you wouldn't keep the 2 witches alive. Tell me, how did you kill them? Enforcer Dong asked while looking at the heads. My method this time was not honorable. Their cultivation was too high, and I couldn't kill them. So, I used a poisonous grass to make them unable to fight back, Night Sorrow said. That's right. They did absorb the yang energy but didn't refine it. This mission is complete. I'll exchange it for points for you. Looking at the heads, Enforcer Dong took Night Sorrow's mission plate to register. In this mission, Enforcer Dong personally recorded the mission's handover record. It was no different from Night Sorrow's handover record. As for how Night Sorrow completed the mission, Enforcer Dong remembered it clearly. Not bad. You have half of the bronze points. At this speed, it shouldn't take long for you to advance to the silver token. Unfortunately, the Medicine Valley is in troubled times now, Enforcer Dong sighed. He felt sorry for Night Sorrow. If Night Sorrow was born in a big family, he would definitely be a master who could use heaven and earth treasures at will. He would be an absolute member of the family. They can do whatever they want. I'll cultivate and do my missions. If the war starts, it won't be too late for me to join the battle. However, my cultivation is useless. Night Sorrow laughed self-deprecatingly. Indeed, in a battle between 2 forces, Yuan gathering stage cultivators were not even considered cannon fodder. Since you've decided, come and take a look when you have time. If you find a suitable mission, it'll be good for you to advance to the silver token earlier. You can also exchange the points for resources, Enforcer Dong said with a smile. He didn't go into too much detail. He knew very well that advancing to the silver token earlier would greatly benefit Night Sorrow's accumulation of experience in Tianji Tower. Night Sorrow bowed to Enforcer Dong and left the private room with Yang Lei. He didn't even take the siren's storage belt. Looks like it went very well. It's good to have connections, Yang Lei said. It went very well. I accepted the mission and handed it in directly. I got a lot of points. Plus, I've worked hard to complete the missions during this period. My points are more than half of the bronze token now, Night Sorrow said. Advance to the silver token as soon as possible and advance to the core condensation stage. This way, Tianji Tower will pay more attention to you. For example, Enforcer Dong will hand over the information about your mission to the headquarters. He won't hide anything, Yang Lei said. I'll work hard. This Tianji Tower is really powerful. Night Sorrow was indeed in awe of Tianji Tower. Even someone as arrogant as Zhan Peng from the Golden Flame Sect didn't dare to cause trouble in Tianji Tower. Yes, everything that happened to you, including killing Zhan Peng, will be reported by Tianji Tower. Purple attention is very important to Tianji Tower. Senior sister, let's go to the City Lord's mansion to see Master. Night Sorrow said to Yang Lei. Okay, you have wine with you. Let's buy some food, Yang Lei nodded and said. In the City Lord's mansion's hall, Night Sorrow saw Yu Yangyu and Qian Wu. The two were looking at the map of Danding City. 13 You are here. Come and greet the second elder. Yu Yu greeted Night Sorrow. Disciple Night Sorrow greets the second elder. Night Sorrow bowed to Chen Wu. Good, very good. I saw your performance in the sect tournament. You are indeed very good. To be honest, you are the most outstanding talent in Medicine Valley in hundreds of years. Chen Wu said with a smile. Thank you for your praise, second elder. Master, you've been busy all day. Disciple and ninth senior sister have brought some food and wine. Master and second elder, please have some. Yi Shang took out the food he had bought from the restaurant and the wine from his storage ring. Okay, how is your cultivation going? Yu Yu asked the second elder after inviting him to sit down. Everything is going well. Night Sorrow nodded. That's good. Danding City is a bit chaotic. Don't run around. Yu Yu said while drinking. Chapter 161. Why can't we go there? Night Sorrow didn't understand, so he asked. Don't ask. Just do as the second elder says. Yu Yu didn't let Night Sorrow continue asking. Su Chenbai's matter was a pain in Chen Wu's heart. At the same time, it was also a secret of the Medicine Valley. After Yu Yu explained, Night Sorrow nodded and didn't ask further. Come, you two sit down and have a drink. This wine is really strong. Chen Wu waved at Night Sorrow and Yang Lei. Night Sorrow and Yang Lei also sat down. However, Yang Lei didn't say anything. She had a problem with Chen Wu because Su Chenbai and Su Mu were both Chen Wu's disciples. Ninth brother. Let me tell you something. Competition within the sect is a good thing. It can make the members of the sect full of fighting spirit. This is also the reason why the second elder didn't stop some things, so you have to weigh it in your heart. Yu Yu could see that Yang Lei had some opinions about Chen Wu. Yang Yu, your thoughts are the same as mine. However, some things have deviated from the right track. This is indeed my dereliction of duty as an elder. Chen Wu laughed at himself and drank a bowl full of wine. Second elder, some things are unpredictable. Yu Yu tried to persuade him. Yang Lei and Night Sorrow didn't interrupt. They both felt that there were some things that they didn't know. After drinking 2 bowls of wine, the two of them took their leave. Ninth senior sister. Did something happen? I feel like the second elder is blaming himself, Night Sorrow said. Maybe. Otherwise, he wouldn't have said something like dereliction of duty. Let's not ask about these things. After all, it involves the reputation of the sect's elders. If he knows he's wrong, then let's forget about it. Otherwise, we won't give him any face. Yang Lei muttered. Sitting in the beast carriage, the two left Danding City and returned to the Dragon Spring courtyard. 6th senior sister, 9th senior sister. Can I continue to use the medicinal cauldron spirit liquid to cultivate? Night Sorrow asked. Back then, when Night Sorrow had obtained the heaven grade treatment, the Medicine Valley had given him 2 drops of medicine cauldron spirit liquid. During the sect tournament, Night Sorrow had used 1 drop, so there was still 1 drop left. Sure. With your current status as the top of the Yuan ranking and the treatment of a heaven-ranked disciple, you can get 2 drops every year. It's suitable for you to use it now to strengthen your foundation, Aoi said to Night Sorrow. After listening to Aoi's explanation, Night Sorrow nodded and returned to his room. He urgently needed to increase his strength. Although no one said it, Night Sorrow knew that he was a burden to Taishan Peak and needed someone to protect him. In addition, he also hoped that he could reach rank 4 as soon as possible so that he could go to the Qingtian region. The faster his cultivation increased, the more likely he would be recruited by the Tianji Tower. At that time, it would be easier for him to go to the Qingtian region. After returning to his room, Night Sorrow ate the medicinal cauldron spirit liquid and began cultivating. He did not use the supreme grade soul gathering pill or leopard embryo tendon strengthening pill. Although the energy contained in the medicinal cauldron spirit liquid was different from the soul gathering pill and soul increasing pill, it could not provide an endless supply of energy. However, the energy contained in the medicinal cauldron spirit liquid was not small and was enough for him to absorb for a few days. Night Sorrow cultivated for 2 days until he completely absorbed the medicinal cauldron spirit liquid. On the 2nd day of cultivation, Night Sorrow's chi could no longer increase. He had reached the bottleneck of chi gathering level 4. Later on, he cultivated the Myriad Dao treasured tome. After changing into a linen robe made by Auntie Lin, Night Sorrow left his room. In the hall on the first floor, Night Sorrow saw the silver fox cub. A few days ago, Night Sorrow had left the silver fox cub in the care of Aoi and Hai Luo, so he did not take care of it. When it saw Night Sorrow, the silver fox cub directly jumped onto Night Sorrow's shoulder. Ninth junior sister, did you see that? This is a plaything that is not mature. I took care of it for a few days, but it ignored me. Now that 13 is here, it immediately went over to me. Aoi said somewhat gloomily. Hee, this matter is really hard to explain. It's just like a relationship between a man and a woman. You take the initiative to like someone, but they might not necessarily like you back. Yonglei said. A relationship between a man and a woman? It's like you know more than me. Aoi laughed. She and Yonglei were about the same age, and they had been in the sect for about the same time. She was very clear about Yonglei's situation. She had never come into contact with a man outside of the Taishan Peak. Night Sorrow brought the silver fox cub to the garden of the other courtyard. He combed the feathers of the resting Tianyu, and then casually strolled around the courtyard. He wanted to relax and then continue to break through. He cultivated the myriad Dao treasured tome and the sacred cauldron scripture, so he broke through twice as many levels as others. The effort he put in was also the same. Fortunately, he could cultivate both at the same time, so it was not a waste of time. After strolling around, Night Sorrow arrived at the attic where Sikong Chuyu lived. After taking a deep breath, Night Sorrow walked in. The attic was very clean. Hai Luo, Luo Wei, and the others came to clean it every day, but the original furnishings had not changed at all. Night Sorrow stayed in Sikong Chuyu's attic for a while, and only left when it was time for lunch. At noon, he did not practice with Yonglei. After resting for a while, Night Sorrow returned to his room and began to break through. Night Sorrow had broken through a few times in the Yuan gathering tier, so he was very familiar with it. He had accumulated enough true qi, and it was also very solid. Breaking through was done by sleeping. The advancement of the sacred cauldron scripture was much easier than that of the myriad Dao treasured tome. It was just the condensation of true qi. However, every advancement of the myriad Dao treasured tome was very painful. It was as if the body had to be dismantled and reassembled. With the example of the pain of the advancement of the myriad Dao treasured tome, the advancement of true qi was not a problem for Night Sorrow. He successfully broke through to the 5th level of Yuan gathering tier in 4 hours. After the advancement, he ate a leopard embryo muscle strengthening pill and cultivated the myriad Dao treasured tome while stabilizing his battle qi. 6th senior sister. 13 is a little bastard. He has no concept of time when he cultivates. He won't eat breakfast with us. He has advanced. While muttering, Yonglei casually probed and found that Night Sorrow's qi had changed. It was the qi of the 5th level of Yuan gathering tier. What else is there to say? His advancement speed is fast, and his foundation is solid. We can't compare to him, Aoi said with a smile. Indeed, it's not good to be unconvinced. When others stabilize their cultivation, it will delay their cultivation speed. With the cultivation speed, there will be the drawbacks of cultivation speed. Now, he has both a fast advancement speed and a solid foundation, Yonglei said as she looked at the stairs leading to Night Sorrow's room. This is the tragedy of the Medicine Valley's newcomers. Think about it, in this year's Battle of the Newcomers, other than Su Mu, 13 swept away everyone else. Next year, Su Mu will be even worse. Which newcomer can contend against 13? That would require the strength of the first place on the Yuan ranking. Unless there is a guy in the peak of Yuan gathering tier participating in the disciple recruitment ceremony, Aoi said with a smile. Chapter 162. During the sect assembly, the higher-ups of Medicine Valley announced that everyone who joined the sect for 3 years would be considered as newcomers and could participate in the newcomer competition. This was mainly to increase the competitive atmosphere. Although there were drawbacks and it was difficult for newcomers to stand out, outstanding newcomers would still have a chance after 1 or 2 years. Just as the two were chatting, Night Sorrow appeared. Are the 2 senior sisters here? Yes. You broke through without a sound. Your speed is amazing, Aoi said. Let's go and eat. I'm hungry, Night Sorrow said while rubbing his stomach. Aoi nodded. The 3 of them went to the cafeteria. Nangong Dai, Chu Ning, and the rest were all there. Chu Ning and Tang Tian each grabbed one end of the elbow and refused to let go. Nangong Dai was trying to calm them down. Good for you. You guys continue to fight. Pretend we don't exist. Yang Lei waved her hand and sat down with Aoi and Night Sorrow. Chu Jiao, are you going to let go? Tang Tian shouted. Although you're the senior brother, you can't bully others. I took it first. Chu Ning refused to let go. Night Sorrow, Yang Lei, and Aoi were eating while watching. You guys continue to fight over this elbow. You guys didn't delay your training time, right? Don't sleep tonight. Make up for the lost time. Yang Lei drank a mouthful of soup and said slowly. Chu Ning, you tricked me. Tang Tian let go. Chu Ning's face turned blue. This was bad luck. Ignoring them, Yi Shang and the other two left the loft after finishing their meal. Practice for a while? Night Sorrow looked at Yang Lei and asked. No, I want to rest for a while and drink some tea. You don't cherish yourself, but I do. Yang Lei sat on the deck chair in the garden and said. Night Sorrow smiled and sat down. He teased the silver fox cub that ran to his feet. That traitor, I bathe it every day, but it's not close to me, Aoi complained. It's mainly because when it first met Night Sorrow, it felt Night Sorrow's kindness. It's already deeply rooted in its heart, Yang Lei said. This was just like humans. Normally, they might not remember who treated them to fish and meat, but when they were hungry, they would remember who gave them a steamed bun. After resting for a while, Night Sorrow and Yang Lei began to practice. The sparring session this time was much more intense than before. Night Sorrow's physical strength had increased a lot, and the strength of his hands and feet had also increased. In addition to strength, Night Sorrow's true chi was also much stronger than before. Night Sorrow still controlled the vibration force at 42 waves. He had just advanced and hadn't tried to increase the number of waves yet. Even if he did, he wasn't familiar with it. There were many times when Yi Shan took the initiative to attack, and Yang Lei also counterattacked whenever she saw an opening. She controlled her cultivation base, limiting it to the middle and early stage of the third stage. Any higher, and Yi Shan wouldn't be able to hold on. After half an hour, Night Sorrow couldn't hold on any longer and stopped to rest. Yang Lei was also tired and sat down to drink tea. Aoi had nothing to do, so she began to train Chu Ning and the others. During the break, Night Sorrow and Yang Lei talked for a while and decided to go out and see what the Golden Flame Sect's reaction was. Today was the deadline of 7 days. If the Golden Flame Sect didn't retreat, the Medicine Valley would expel them. What did that mean? It meant a declaration of war. In other words, if the Golden Flame Sect didn't retreat today, the Medicine Valley would take action. If the Medicine Valley took action, the Golden Flame Sect wouldn't be able to stand it. The two forces would fight next. Because it was close, Night Sorrow didn't let Tianyu out. He and Yang Lei rode the Blue Eagle to Danding City. The atmosphere in Danding City today was different from usual. It used to be tense, but today was different. All the disciples of the Medicine Valley had unsheathed their weapons and were full of fighting spirit. Everyone knew that if the Golden Flame Sect disciples didn't retreat from the Medicine Valley, the battle would start. Night Sorrow and Aoi rode the beast carriage to the mayor's mansion. Although they were in a hurry, they couldn't ride the flying beasts. There were crossbows on the high-rise buildings in Danding City. They were used to kill flying beasts and were also strategic weapons in war. At this time, the city guards were no longer guarding the crossbows. The elite disciples of the Medicine Valley were there. As long as a flying beast appeared, they would kill it without warning. At the gate of the mayor's mansion, Night Sorrow and Yang Lei saw the head elder, the second elder, and Yu Yang Yu. Greetings, head elder, second elder, and master. Night Sorrow bowed and greeted them. Why are you here? What a mess. Old Nine, why don't you keep an eye on them? Yu Yang Yu scolded him. Yu Yang Yu and the others were preparing to go to the Golden Flame Sect's base in the Medicine Valley. If they didn't leave, they would start a war. It's not a big deal. It's good to see them. Yang Lei, you have to keep an eye on your junior brother. Great Elder said with a smile. At this time, the head elder's face was full of smiles. He didn't look nervous at all. The two great elders of the Medicine Valley had already sent back a message. As long as the Golden Flame Sect declared war with the Medicine Valley, the Southern Dipper Sect would directly attack. The other two great elders had also contacted the Walkabout sect. The Walkabout sect, which was willing to be on good terms with the Medicine Valley, had also expressed that as long as the Medicine Valley was willing to cooperate with the Walkabout sect, they would attack the Golden Flame sect when they attacked the Medicine Valley. This was the influence of alchemy sects and alchemists. The Southern Dipper sect and the Medicine Valley had a friendship. Apart from friendship, all cultivators needed elixirs. They could refine ordinary elixirs in their sects, but when it came to rare and unusual elixirs, they couldn't do it. Even if they had the materials, they couldn't refine them. However, the Medicine Valley was good at this. This was an objective problem that both the Southern Dipper sect and the Walkabout sect faced. The most important point was that from the perspective of the development of their sects, helping the Medicine Valley was beneficial to them. The existence of the Medicine Valley was a nail in the Golden Flame sect's heart. Helping the Medicine Valley and supporting the Medicine Valley was equal to restricting the development of the Golden Flame sect. This situation was beneficial to the Southern Dipper sect and the Walkabout sect, whose sphere of influence bordered the Golden Flame sect. After receiving the message, the head elder was sure that the Golden Flame sect wouldn't declare war. The existence of the Medicine Valley was an opportunity for the Southern Dipper sect and the Walkabout sect to jointly attack the Golden Flame sect. In terms of strength, the Golden Flame sect was not as good as the Southern Dipper sect. With the addition of the equally powerful Walkabout sect, the Golden Flame sect would be a fool to declare war under such pressure. Under the guidance of Yu Yongyu, they walked towards the Golden Fire Pavilion. The Medicine Valley had already received the news that all the members of Golden Fire sect in Danding City had gathered there. Night Sorrow and Yang Lei walked at the back, and so did the Great Elder. Update X Numost, Fast K Shana. Chapter 163. Thank you for your concern, Great Elder, but I don't need anything for the time being. Night Sorrow said. He now felt that he owed the Medicine Valley a lot. Although the conflict between the Medicine Valley and the Golden Flame sect would happen sooner or later, it was caused by him cutting off Zhongping's arm. If you need anything, go to your master or find me. The sect will give you whatever help we can. You have given the Medicine Valley hope, and you are also the hope of the Medicine Valley. The Great Elder looked at Yi Shang with eyes full of admiration. The fact was just as the Great Elder said. Night Sorrow found the Holy Cauldron Sutra, which gave the Medicine Valley hope to rise again. Similarly, a young and outstanding disciple like Night Sorrow was also the future of the Medicine Valley. I will work hard. Night Sorrow could feel the care and kindness in the Great Elder's eyes. Later on, I may have to go to the Enshrined Pagoda. If you have any questions, use my token to find me at the Enshrined Pagoda. The Great Elder instructed. Great Elder, you are so biased. You are so good to 13. You didn't take care of me like this back then, Yang Lei said, curling her lips. Haha, don't compare yourself with your little junior brother, the Great Elder said with a smile. Yang Lei nodded. She was just saying. The Great Elder's prestige in the Medicine Valley was extremely high, even higher than that of the Valley Master. Before the Valley Master took office, he was the Great Elder and did things fairly. While chatting, the group arrived at the Golden Flame Pavilion. There were many people gathered at the entrance of the Golden Flame Pavilion. In the middle were hundreds of disciples of the Golden Flame sect, and outside were disciples of the Medicine Valley. They had already formed an encirclement. The leaders were Yan Beibei, Duan Lei, Gong Xian, and Chu Lingxiao. Seeing Yu Yongyu, the Great Elder, and the others, the disciples of the Medicine Valley made way for them. Qi Tiancheng, have you decided? Yu Yongyu walked out of the crowd and asked the leader of the Golden Flame sect, Qi Tiancheng. Yu Yongyu, has the Medicine Valley decided to shed all pretense of cordiality? Have you thought of the consequences? Qi Tiancheng said with a gloomy face. Don't talk to me about the consequences. Today, the Medicine Valley will only give you one choice. Will you retreat or not? Yu Yongyu's answer? Are you trying to bring calamity to the Medicine Valley? Or do you think that the Medicine Valley can contend with the Golden Flame sect? Qi Tiancheng roared angrily. He was really depressed. Yesterday, the Golden Flame sect had sent an order to prevent Qi Tiancheng from clashing with the Medicine Valley. It would be best if they could intimidate Qi Tiancheng, but if not, they would retreat temporarily. The actions of the Southern Dipper sect and the Walkabout sect had already put the Golden Flame sect in a passive position. I don't know if they can resist. But let me tell you, as long as you don't retreat, no one from the Golden Flame sect will survive in Danding City. Yu Yongyu glanced at the disciples of the Golden Flame sect and said, Yu Yongyu, the Golden Flame sect will remember what happened today. Let's go. Qi Tiancheng glanced at Yu Yongyu coldly. Ignoring Qi Tiancheng and the others who were walking out, Yu Yongyu gave a strong order. From today onwards, kill anyone with the symbol of the Golden Flame sect who enters the Medicine Valley. Qi Tiancheng, who had walked a few meters away, trembled. He knew that the Medicine Valley had really turned hostile. All the members of the Golden Flame sect left. The tense atmosphere in Danding City eased. No one wanted to start a war if possible. Yongyu, call back all the people you sent out. In the future, the people of the 12 Peaks will take turns to be on duty in Danding City. We'll discuss the issue of the City Lord, the first elder said. Under normal circumstances, Ao Yushan could be the City Lord. But now that the situation was unstable, Ao Yushan couldn't control the situation. This operation had nothing to do with him. He couldn't get involved at all. After that, everyone dispersed. Yi Shang and Yang Lei followed the group back to the City Lord's mansion. The peak masters of the various peaks also arrived at the main hall of the City Lord mansion. Let's put this matter aside for now. But something can happen at any time. Danding City is the most important city. We can't afford to lose it. Ao Yushan will be the deputy city lord. Choose another city lord, the first elder said to the fourth elder, Lu Chenyun. I have no objection to the first elder's arrangement. Lu Chenyun nodded. Although his disciple's power was taken away, he understood that this was the general trend. During the next election, the elders and peak masters all recommended Gong Xian. Gong Xian has entered the 5th level. He's more than qualified to be the city lord. But he has other tasks. He can't be the city lord of Danding City. The first elder rejected directly. During the next election, Yang Lei was naturally put on the table. After all, there were very few people in the Medicine Valley in recent years. It could be said that almost no one had entered the 5th level. Yang Lei's ability was obvious to all. Translator, Endless Fantasy Translation Editor. Endless Fantasy Translation, Master. I have no problem killing people. But I can't be the City Lord's disciple, Yang Lei stood up and said. Ah, that's true. What do you think, First Elder? Yu Yongyu looked at the First Elder. Capable people do more work. Yang Lei, don't decline this matter. Yushan, you have to cooperate with Yang Lei. If I find out that you have any ulterior motives, don't blame me for being rude. In addition, I'll set up the position of Deputy City Lord. Qing Shan, you'll stay and assist Yang Lei. The First Elder made another arrangement. First Elder, why don't I stay? Chu Lingxiao said. You have other arrangements. Otherwise, why wouldn't everyone recommend you? Qian Wu said before the First Elder could speak. At this time, Su Chenbai was frowning. The Second Elder hadn't made any arrangements for the people of the Nine Yin Peak. This was the time for the peaks to expand their influence. Hearing Qian Wu's words, Chu Lingxiao nodded. He also wanted to contribute. Since the sect had other arrangements, he had no objections. In addition, the First Elder announced that a month later, before the sect's disciple recruitment ceremony, the Medicine Valley would hold a sect meeting. The Grand Supreme Elder and the Valley Lord would attend. This let everyone know that there would be a big change in the Medicine Valley. After the announcement, the First Elder asked everyone if there was anything else. Qian Wu suggested that this year's disciple recruitment ceremony should be more grand. They should attract more talents and give more rewards to the disciples who passed. The First Elder nodded and agreed. Then, he let Yu Yongyu make the arrangements. Yu Yongyu asked the peaks to send people to inform their subordinate regions. There were still 2 months. Time might be tight, but there was still time. After the meeting, those who should leave left. Ao Yushan also gave up the mansion next to the City Lord's mansion. That was the residence of the City Lord. Yang Lei also asked him to arrange a place for by Qing Shan. There were no outsiders in the hall. Only Yang Lei and Knight Sorrow were left. Yu Yongyu said, Old Jiu, I know you don't like trifles. But right now, Danding City really needs someone who can control the situation. Even among the elders, only a limited number of people have reached the 5th level. During this critical period, even if an elder becomes the city lord, he won't be able to control the situation without strength. Chapter 164. This is related to experience and strength. How can you be elected if you are not strong enough? You were elected not because of experience, but because of strength, Yu Yongyu said. 9th senior sister, if you don't want to take care of the trivial matters, it's simple. Don't we have 2 vice city lords? Just let them do it. You just need to take care of them. If you can't, just set up 2 protectors and let them do the work, Night Sorrow said with a smile. Yes, old 9. You don't see it as clearly as 13. This is the way of managing people, Yu Yongyu said with a smile as he looked at Night Sorrow. Then isn't eldest senior brother more suitable than me? Yonglei asked with a puzzled look. There will be some personnel changes in Medicine Valley. According to the current trend, I may not stay in Taishan Peak. The new Peak Master will either be your Uncle Master Tai Tsong or your eldest senior brother. Yu Yongyu didn't hide anything from his disciple. I see. Then what about that bastard Chu Ling Xiao? Isn't he very strong? Even the elders of the sect approve of him, Yonglei asked. He also needs to take on a big responsibility. Haha. All right, old 9, stop complaining. The city lord of Danding City is a lucrative position. If you manage it well, it will benefit your future generations. Can't you see that Ao Yushan is unhappy? His Ao family has been the city lord before and has received many benefits. Now it's his own fault for failing to live up to expectations, so he can only step down at this juncture, Yu Yongyu said with a smile. Disciple understands. Yonglei didn't say anything else. She knew that this was the truth. If she chose to marry and have children, then her future generations would receive great benefits. Yu Yongyu stayed for a while before leaving. He still had many things to deal with. The first elder and second elder had let him handle many of the sect's affairs. Junior sister, Bai Qingshan and Ao Yushan came back. Bai Qingshan greeted with a smile. Disciple greets the city lord. Bai Qingshan could call his junior sister directly, but Ao Yushan didn't dare to call her by her seniority. Lu Yongyu and Duan Lei were martial brothers, so Bai Qingshan was very close to Yonglei and the others. He was Lu Chenyun's disciple and Yonglei and Bai Qingshan's martial uncle, but in terms of closeness, he was much weaker. In the future, I will trouble senior brother Qingshan and vice city lord, Yonglei said. Bai Qingshan nodded. He understood that Yonglei would be in charge of Danding City in the future, but there were some things that Yonglei would not take care of personally. Don't worry, city lord. I will do my best. Ao Yushan expressed his loyalty. After reporting the situation, Ao Yushan left with Bai Qingshan. Ao Yushan only left a few servants in the mansion. The others were taken away. He was very unlucky this year. First, his grandson offended Night Sorrow. In the end, he lost his spirit stones and the Dragon Spring courtyard. Now, he had to give up his position as the city lord and the mansion he lived in. Luckily, the Ao family was rich and had other mansions. Later, let Qiushue, who is 6th senior sister's servant, come over. We need someone to take care of your daily life. Night Sorrow looked at the empty mansion and said, The Dragon Spring courtyard also needs people? Yonglei was not used to it. This huge mansion would be her home in the future. The Dragon Spring courtyard has Hai Luo and Luo Wei. Little 6 is also very capable, Night Sorrow said with a smile. Okay, you arrange it. It's better for us to have one more place. Yonglei nodded and didn't refute Yishang's words. Dragon Spring courtyard had Hai Luo, Luo Wei, and a few others managing it. There was also the manager Little 6 who ran outside. There was no problem at all. Yonglei brought Night Sorrow around the mansion. Although the mansion was not as luxurious and romantic as the Dragon Spring courtyard, it was more solemn. While looking around the mansion, Yonglei also arranged a room for Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow did not refuse. This was Yonglei's kindness. After staying in the mansion for a while, Night Sorrow left. Yonglei wanted to send him off, but Night Sorrow did not agree. Yonglei had just become the city lord and had a lot of things to do. After leaving the city in the beast carriage, Night Sorrow returned to the Dragon Spring courtyard with Tianyu. Looking at Aoi, Night Sorrow told her about the situation in Danding City. He could see that Aoi was very anxious. Ninth junior sister became the city lord? This is a good thing. Seems like the Golden Flame sect does not dare to start a war. Aoi felt more assured. No one wanted to see a war where both sides suffered. Plus, Aoi knew that Yu Yongyu was going to take over as the Valley Lord. If a war broke out now, it would not be good for her master. Then Aoi called Little Six and asked him to send Shoshu to Yang Lei's mansion in Danding City. After eating, Night Sorrow went to cultivate. He knew that the Golden Flame sect would not make any moves in the near future. They would be quiet for a while. What he needed to do was to improve his cultivation as soon as possible and try his best to reach the 7th level of element gathering tier. Then, he would be able to take the reinforcement pill and reach the 8th level of element gathering tier. At that time, the annual spirit gathering formation on Taishan Peak would be activated, and he would have a chance to reach the 9th level of element gathering tier. The following days were just as Night Sorrow predicted. After the Golden Flame sect retreated, they did not make any moves. After all, the Southern Dipper sect was still fighting. Night Sorrow cultivated hard every day. Every few days, he would go to the Tianji Tower to check the missions. If there was something suitable, he would do it. If not, he would return to the courtyard to cultivate. On the other hand, Yang Lei was a bit busy. However, she spent most of her time in the Dragon Spring courtyard because she was used to living here. It was more convenient for Yang Lei to go back and forth. She was the city lord and had special privileges. She could ride the Green Condor to patrol in Danding City. From the city lord's office of Danding City to the Dragon Spring courtyard, the time wasted was from the city lord's office to the city gate. It would take more than 2 hours to collect the beast carriages. After leaving the city gate, it would only take a while to fly to the Dragon Spring courtyard. Time passed quickly. Night Sorrow's cultivation improved very quickly. In the blink of an eye, a month had passed. During this time, Night Sorrow had completed 4 bronze missions. His cultivation had also reached the late stage of the 5th level of element gathering tier. This was mainly due to the effect of the top-grade soul gathering pill. His cultivation of the Book of Myriad Tao was also very fast. He had also reached the late stage of the 3rd level of muscle strengthening. However, he had to stop cultivating and return to the Medicine Valley. The Medicine Valley was going to hold a sect meeting. The second-generation disciples of each peak and members of the law enforcers and above had to return to the sect to participate in the meeting. Night Sorrow actually knew the purpose of this meeting. It was to announce some changes in the members of the sect. It was a big change. After returning to the Taishan Peak, Night Sorrow saw that his senior sisters and senior brothers had all returned. He and Aoi were the last to return. 13, you've grown a lot taller and stronger during this time, Taitsong said with a smile. Chapter 165. The Medicine Valley Sect Assembly was held at the square in front of Danding Peak. This was an internal assembly of the Medicine Valley, so there was no need for anyone to attend the ceremony. Therefore, the location of the assembly was different from the disciple recruitment ceremony and the sect competition. When Night Sorrow and the rest arrived, there were already tens of thousands of people at the square in front of Danding Peak. This time, the Medicine Valley Sect Assembly only required the participation of second-generation disciples and law enforcers and above. There were no restrictions for other members. It was best if they could come, but it was fine if they didn't. Therefore, many people had arrived. There were many chairs placed at the front of the square. These were the seats for the absolute upper echelons of the Medicine Valley. Night Sorrow and the rest arrived at the location of Taishan Peak. There were a few chairs for the elders of each peak. This time, Night Sorrow and the rest didn't have a seat. It was the same for the other peaks. The peak masters of each peak sat in the second row of chairs at the front of the square. The seats in front were for the elders. As more and more people arrived, there were fewer and fewer empty chairs. Yu Yongyu, the first elder, the second elder, and the rest had all arrived. Just as Night Sorrow was thinking about when the assembly would begin, more people arrived. Night Sorrow recognized one of them. It was Yu Yongyu's master, his grandmaster. There was another person who looked like an immortal. He was wearing a long robe embroidered with the pattern of Danding Peak. Beside this person, there were two elders in black robes. Both of them had white hair and beards, but they were in good spirits. After seeing these people, the people on the main seat stood up and bowed to greet them. Even the first elder cupped his hands. "You may begin." One of the elders in black robes gestured with his arm and sat down. An old man wearing a long robe with a cauldron pattern walked to the front desk. "I'm Hua Yunpeng. First of all, I apologize to all members of the Medicine Valley. I've been in charge of the Medicine Valley for so many years, but I haven't made any achievements. This is my dereliction of duty." Fortunately, the first elder has maintained the order of the Medicine Valley. "From today on, I will no longer be the Valley Master of the Medicine Valley. But what I can promise is that I will never give up the glory of the Medicine Valley. As long as there is a battle, I will stand at the front. Even if my blood splashes 5 steps away, I will not let the honor of the Medicine Valley be damaged." After Hua Yunpeng finished speaking, he took off the long robe with the pattern of the cauldron on it and put on the tight battle robe. Then, he bowed to the main seat and the disciples of the Medicine Valley. The reason why he took off his clothes and bowed to apologize was that the dignity of the Valley Master of the Medicine Valley could not be blasphemed. The picture of the cauldron was the symbol of the Valley Master of the Medicine Valley. "You didn't do anything wrong. You're just not good at it." A black-robed elder stood up and took 2 steps forward to help Hua Yunpeng up. "Thank you for your understanding, Grand Elder." After straightening up, Hua Yunpeng handed the robe with the pattern of the cauldron on it to the first elder. The first elder took it and handed it to the elite disciple behind him. "Don't blame yourself. Everything is fine in the Medicine Valley. You're seeking a breakthrough so that the Medicine Valley can have more deterrent ability. Sit down." After comforting Hua Yunpeng, the first elder walked to the front of the stage. Today's sect meeting is mainly to announce several things. After the elders' discussion, the Grand Elder has decided that Valley Master Hua will no longer be the Valley Master and enter the worship tower. From today on, he will be the Grand Elder. In addition, the new Valley Master will be selected. The new Valley Master will be Yu Yongyu, the Peak Master of the Taishan Peak, the first elder announced. After the first elder's announcement, everyone began to applaud. The 3 Grand Elders, Hua Yunpeng, and the other Peak Masters were all applauding. The inauguration ceremony will be held before the apprenticeship ceremony. "Yongyu, now use your full power as the Valley Master and make the next arrangements." A Grand Elder said. "Okay." Yu Yongyu walked to the front of the stage. "Since I've taken over as the Valley Master, I'll first announce the personnel transfer arrangements. Since I've just taken over as the Valley Master, the position of Taishan Peak's Peak Master will be vacant and will be taken over by the eldest disciple of Taishan Peak, Gong Xian. Gong Xian has entered rank 5 and will have no problem taking over as the Peak Master. Because Gong Xian is still young, he will be assisted by the Taishan Peak's elder Tai Tsong. Does anyone have any objections?" After the announcement, Yu Yongyu looked at the main seats. The Grand Elder, First Elder, and the others nodded. Even if they had objections, no one would object. Yu Yongyu had just taken over as the Valley Master and they would only support him even if he was wrong. They had to establish the prestige of the new Valley Master. As for the personnel arrangements, they had already been approved by a few people. Next, they continued with the personnel appointments. Danding Peak's Chu Ling Xiao will be the Peak Master of the 19th Peak. Because Chu Ling Xiao was still young, the second elder will also be assigned to the 19th Peak to assist him. "Then what should I do?" Su Chenbai's face turned ugly when he heard that his position as the Peak Master had been taken away. He did not care about anything else and stood up immediately. "Just follow the arrangements. Why do you have so many questions?" Second Elder Qian Wu reprimanded him. Then, Yu Yongyu looked at Su Chenbai and said, "I have just taken over as the Valley Master and have a lot of things to deal with. I need help. Peak Master Su, you can come to the main peak to help." A smile appeared on Su Chenbai's face and he sat down. After sitting down, his expression changed again. He originally thought that his position had been promoted, and he would be in charge of the Medicine Valley's overall affairs. However, Yu Yongyu did not arrange any new positions for him. At this time, he could not stand up and question him again. Also, Cloud Sea Peak is in charge of recruiting new disciples this year, right? This year, the main disciples will be sent to 9th Peak, Taishan Peak, and Crepe Myrtle. These 3 peaks need to recruit new members. The other peaks will be given the chance first. Yu Yongyu made another arrangement. After announcing some changes, Yu Yongyu returned to his seat. At this time, the first elder came to the front desk again and said, "I have something to add. The mayor of Danding City used to be the protector of the Medicine Valley. Now that the Medicine Valley is in a delicate situation, the mayor of Danding City will be an elder of the Medicine Valley in the future. He can mobilize any disciple under the elder rank." Chapter N, Section N$K. Then, a great elder walked to the front desk and said, "The Medicine Valley has been baptized for countless years and gone through countless difficulties. It's time for its rapid development. From today onwards, all disciples will receive double the original resources. In addition, we will treat the Golden Flame sect with respect. Although the Medicine Valley is not as strong as them, we are brave. As long as they are in the Medicine Valley, we will kill any Golden Flame sect disciple on sight." Then, the first elder announced that the meeting was over, but the senior members continued to discuss some things. "Congratulations, first elder brother." Knight Sorrow turned to Gong Xian and cupped his hands. Wu Qi and the others also cupped their hands and greeted him. Even the elders of Taishan Peak did the same. This was not a matter of seniority. In the Medicine Valley, the authority of the Valley Master and the Peak Master was unquestionable. Even the Valley Master would not easily intervene in the affairs of the peaks. "Don't worry about it. Let's go back," Gong Xian said with a smile. He had already known about this arrangement. Chapter 166. Su Chenbai was from the Golden Flame sect. Yu Yongyu and the Great Elder had mentioned this to Knight Sorrow, mainly to remind him not to get plotted against. From today's arrangement, Knight Sorrow could see that the Medicine Valley had begun to control Su Chenbai. Chu Lingxiao taking over the position of Peak Master of the 9th Peak was to remove Su Chenbai's real power. Qian Wu was the previous Peak Master of the 9th Peak. With him assisting Chu Lingxiao, even if Su Chenbai had trusted subordinates in the 9th Peak, they wouldn't be able to cause any trouble. In addition, once Su Chenbai arrived at the main peak, he would be under complete surveillance and control. Without a position, it would be impossible for him to mobilize the forces of the Medicine Valley. Knight Sorrow was satisfied that Gong Xian taking over the position of Peak Master of the Taishan Peak didn't affect him much. He didn't want anyone to come to the Taishan Peak and order him around. After returning to the Taishan Peak, Taitsong arranged for everyone to have a meeting at the Taishan Peak. Knight Sorrow and the others sat in the main hall. 13. You're going to Danding Peak. If you don't have any objections, pack up and go there later, Gong Xian said to Knight Sorrow. Eldest senior brother, why? Why doesn't the Taishan Peak want me? Upon hearing Gong Xian's words, Knight Sorrow was so agitated that his eyes turned red. To him, the Taishan Peak was his home. 13. What are you thinking? Master is worried about you, so he wants to bring you there. How can we not want you? Gong Xian stood up and hugged Knight Sorrow, patting Knight Sorrow's back. I'm not going. I'll tell Master that I'll be fine at the Taishan Peak, Knight Sorrow said after taking a deep breath. Yeah, I'll tell Master too. We'll take good care of 13, Aoi said. That's fine. Actually, I can't bear to part with 13 either, Gong Xian said with a smile. All right then. If not, your junior master will go talk to your revered master. When you're free, junior master can just run to Danding Peak a few more times. Tai Tsong chuckled. Master will agree to it. 13. My little rundown house on Bamboo Forest Peak is yours. Later, I will have someone repair it and build a loft, Gong Xian said. Thank you, eldest senior brother. Knight Sorrow bowed. But you have to visit Master more often at Danding Peak. Every time he goes there, he won't feel at ease without a single disciple by his side. Gong Xian reminded Knight Sorrow. Don't worry, eldest senior brother. We will all go, Aoi said. Really, this valley head position means nothing to Master. He might as well live comfortably at Taishan Peak, Yonglei mumbled. Yonglei, you can't say such nonsense. You're an elder now, do you understand? Tai Tsong glared at Yonglei. After the meeting at Taishan Peak, Yu Yongyu returned with the Great Elder. Gong Xian, is there a problem? Yu Yongyu sat down and asked Gong Xian. No problem. It's just that 13 still wants to stay at Taishan Peak, Gong Xian said as he stood up. That's fine too. If there's any problem, you can find me at Danding Peak. Yu Yongyu looked at Night Sorrow and said, Master, I can't bear to leave Taishan Peak. This place is like home. But I will visit Danding Peak often, Night Sorrow said guiltily. I understand your feelings. I can't bear to leave this place either. Yu Yongyu nodded at Night Sorrow. Valley Lord, in terms of the ability to teach disciples, there are many more people in the Medicine Valley who are more outstanding than you. However, the achievements of this disciple are unparalleled in the Medicine Valley. No one can deny this fact, the Grand Elder said with a smile. He had already changed the way he addressed Lu Yongyu and no longer called him by his name. How should I put it? It's mainly because these kids are hardworking. They don't want me to lose face. Rather than saying that I've taken in disciples, it's better to say that I've taken in a group of children. Yu Yongyu looked at his disciples proudly. That makes sense. It's the truth, Great Elder nodded. After staying for a while, Yu Yongyu left. Although the conflict between the Medicine Valley and the Golden Flame sect had been resolved, he had just taken over as the valley head and there were still a lot of things to deal with. Night Sorrow asked Gong Xian if the Spirit Gathering Array would be activated this year and if he could still enter. Looking at Night Sorrow, Gong Xian smiled. It's activated. New disciples and those who haven't entered the core condensation stage can enter the Spirit Gathering Array. After receiving Gong Xian's reply, Night Sorrow was very happy. He had a plan. Night Sorrow, Yonglei, and Aoi stayed at the Taishan Peak for a while before leaving for Danding City. When they arrived at the gate of Danding City, Night Sorrow and Aoi were about to land Tianyu and the Azure Condor. However, Yonglei stopped them. There's no need to land. Just fly. I've already ordered that the Azure Condors can fly in Danding City. Night Sorrow and Tianyu can also fly. I've also drawn a portrait of them and sent it out. You can do that? Night Sorrow looked at Yonglei in surprise. I'm the city lord. Whatever I say goes. It's good to have power, Yonglei said domineeringly. Sixth senior sister. I have some doubts. Is it a mistake for the sect to arrange for ninth senior sister to be the city lord of Danding City? Night Sorrow said with a smile. 13. What do you mean? Are you doubting your ninth senior sister's ability? If anyone dares to cause trouble in Danding City, I'll just kill them. That's my ability. Yonglei glared at Night Sorrow and said. 13. Do you know that in the future, the disciples of Taishan Peak will be highly valued in the Medicine Valley? Not for anything else, but for their domineering aura. It's a kind of spiritual inheritance, Aoi said to Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow agreed with what Aoi said. A force needed a leader like that. When they arrived at Yonglei's mansion, it was getting late. Aoi and Night Sorrow stayed at Yonglei's mansion. Tomorrow was the beginning of the month. Night Sorrow planned to go out early to do missions and earn points as soon as possible. That night, Yishang didn't cultivate. He just lay on the bed and slept. He was a cultivator who had been forced to sleep by Yonglei. Meditating meant resting, but he still didn't really relax mentally. Aoi and Yonglei drank tea for a while and decided to rest. Before they went to sleep, they went to Night Sorrow's room. Night Sorrow fell asleep on the bed with his clothes on. He did not even cover himself with the quilt. You really don't know how to take care of yourself. Yonglei shook her head and gently covered Night Sorrow with the quilt. K. After covering Night Sorrow with the quilt, Yonglei and Aoi went to rest. Night Sorrow woke up early. After greeting Aoi and Yonglei, Night Sorrow rushed to Tianji Tower. The mayor's mansion was relatively close to Tianji Tower. It was only a few steps away. When Night Sorrow arrived, Tianji Tower was not open yet. Night Sorrow waited at the entrance. While he was waiting, enlightenment arrived with the disciples of Danding Peak. Chapter 167. Oh, enlightenment, you guys are here too. You're all early. Night Sorrow greeted them. We have to be early. Now everyone is fighting for missions because of Martial Uncle. Martial Uncle, leave the normal black iron missions to us. Enlightenment said helplessly. Okay, I'll try my best to take bronze missions. Night Sorrow nodded. He didn't have the energy to do too many black iron missions. Tianji Tower hadn't opened yet, but many people had already arrived. Almost all of them were disciples of the Medicine Valley. When they saw Night Sorrow, their eyes turned a little blue. "Marshal Uncle, you're here." Shi Yunhai also came. "Oh, you're here for missions too?" Night Sorrow greeted Shi Yunhai. "Yes, I was chased out by my uncle to practice combat. I didn't receive any missions a few days ago. I asked around and heard that a new mission will be released at the beginning of the month." "Yes, it's easier to take missions at the beginning of the month." Night Sorrow nodded. Just as they were talking, Tianji Tower opened. Enforcer Dong stood in the hall. He knew that Night Sorrow would definitely come at the beginning of the month. "Line up according to the rules." Enforcer Dong shouted when he saw so many people. Hearing Enforcer Dong's words, Enlightenment and Shi Yunhai stood behind Night Sorrow. None of the disciples of the Medicine Valley stood in front of Night Sorrow. This was a form of respect. It had nothing to do with the second-generation disciples of Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow came to Enforcer Dong and said, "I'm here to take a mission." Enforcer Dong smiled and nodded. He handed the bronze and black mission lists to Night Sorrow. At the same time, the receptionist took notes with a pen and paper. They all knew that Night Sorrow was definitely not taking a mission. Night Sorrow took the bronze mission list and started pointing. Then, he glanced at the two black iron missions. Seeing Enlightenment and Shi Yunhai staring at him, Night Sorrow put down the black iron mission list and continued to take bronze missions. After accepting 7 bronze missions in one go, Night Sorrow was finally done. "Be careful when you go out. If you have time, let's drink together." After saying goodbye to Shi Yunhai and Enlightenment, he turned and left. "Senior brother, Uncle Master has taken on so many bronze missions. Can he complete all of them with his cultivation base?" A disciple of the Medicine Valley behind the Enlightenment sect stuttered. "Only #Yijing, edition, *8 other V all G, is the pirated edition. Yes, he can complete it. Let's take a look at the black iron mission." Enlightenment patted his junior brother's shoulder. This junior brother had returned to his hometown some time ago and didn't know about Night Sorrow's deeds. The Enlightenment didn't mention it either, mainly because they wanted to deal a blow to him. After leaving the Tianji Tower, Night Sorrow got on Tianyu's back and flew directly. This was the benefit of having a senior sister as the city lord. Night Sorrow's name, Tianyu, was noted in Danding City. This was a privilege that even the elders of the Medicine Valley didn't have. Night Sorrow planned to use this time to consolidate his cultivation base. His cultivation base had improved a little recently and was not far from a breakthrough. Night Sorrow's bronze missions were not difficult. Only one of them was more difficult. It was to hunt down a rapist in the early stage of the core condensation realm. Night Sorrow wasn't very worried about the rapist's cultivation base. He knew that the rapist's cultivation base was in the early stage of the core condensation realm. Night Sorrow's original plan was to finish the other missions and go back to do the next one. However, thinking that there would be more victims during this period of time, he went to Qianxiang town in the Qianshan city area ahead of time. There was another reason for this choice. Night Sorrow was worried that if he stayed too long, the mission information would be inaccurate. One had to know that people were mobile. If he was late, the rapist might change his location. That would be troublesome. Qianxiang town was a place with beautiful scenery. It was rich in silk, so it was relatively prosperous. Because of the importance of business development, there were relatively few cultivators. This was also the reason why the rapist committed crimes here. Night Sorrow went directly to the mayor's house to understand the situation. Night Sorrow found out that a girl had been defiled the day before yesterday. This rapist came out almost every few days. Moreover, the mayor was very sure that the rapist was in Tianxiang town. This was because the strong men in the town formed a patrol team and checked people coming in and out. Night Sorrow believed this. Tianxiang town was a town with only one road in and out. It was surrounded by lakes. It could be said that it was a town on water. Outside the lakes were mulberry fields where people worked. The rapist's cultivation was at the early core condensation realm. It was impossible for him to escape the patrol team's detection and leave the town. "Mayor, there aren't many people in the town. Can't we investigate?" Night Sorrow asked. Then the mayor's answer made Night Sorrow understand why the rapist was so difficult to catch. It was because this was a trading town. There were many restaurants and inns. It was very difficult to investigate. The mayor's answer made Night Sorrow have some doubts. There are many strangers and merchants coming in and out. How can you be sure that the rapist is still here? We have indeed taken strict precautions. We don't let strangers in or out. Those who let them in are merchants who have dealt with us for a few years. If it was a bad guy, he wouldn't have waited until today to make trouble. The mayor said. Well, that means that the rapist might still be here. Haven't you thought of a way? Night Sorrow asked. We thought about it. We even put a bounty on him. Several people came, but they could only see his shadow. They couldn't catch him at all. They said that he seemed to be wearing a fur coat, but we haven't seen anyone wearing a fur coat in our town. The mayor said. I'll try my best. Night Sorrow nodded to the mayor. It was already late. Night Sorrow went to the tallest watchtower in the town to meditate. At the same time, he also let out Tianyu. After meditating for the whole night, he didn't find anything. However, Night Sorrow wasn't discouraged because the town was safe last night. In other words, the rapist didn't appear. After dawn, Night Sorrow stopped cultivating and went to find the mayor. He planned to see the victims. When he heard that Night Sorrow wanted to see the victims, the mayor's expression changed. He shook his head and said, It's very tragic. Not only did they lose their virginity, but their bodies were also badly scratched. 2 of them even had their faces disfigured. You can catch them if you can. Don't ask any more. The mayor's tone was a little unlucky. He didn't believe Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow was young. Compared to other cultivators, his appearance was much worse. I don't see the victims. Then I'll ask if there are any other strange things in the town. Night Sorrow also saw the mayor's impatience. Well, they just lost some food, some ducks or something. After glancing at Night Sorrow, the mayor directly left. He also invited other cultivators. Seeing the mayor's attitude, Night Sorrow knew that the investigation wouldn't work. The mayor wouldn't cooperate. He was doing a mission. He couldn't use his identity as a disciple of the Medicine Valley to pressure people. In a situation where there was no other way, Night Sorrow could only wait. He suspected that it was done by outsiders or people in the town. After analyzing the mayor's words, he knew that the rapist didn't kill anyone. Chapter 168. Night Sorrow had to figure out a way himself since the mayor was not willing to cooperate with him. He wandered around the streets casually, checking out the situation in the town. Although it was called a town, Sky Fragrance Town was very developed with 2,000 to 3,000 families. There were inns and restaurants on both sides of the street. It was quite prosperous. On the east side of the town, Night Sorrow felt something unusual. At the same time, he saw someone he should not have seen. It was Mrs. Luo from the town where he got the sky-piercing grass. It was Mrs. Luo who got mad when Night Sorrow broke her wall. Mrs. Luo was also surprised to see Night Sorrow. While Night Sorrow was still in shock, Blacksmith also appeared. However, Blacksmith's appearance was very different from before. He was now wearing a loose robe. Hey, kid, why are you here? The blacksmith greeted Night Sorrow warmly. Uncle, why are you here? Night Sorrow asked. This is also my home. We just came back yesterday to do some things. What about you? Are you here to catch that flower thief? Come in and have a seat. The blacksmith invited Night Sorrow into the yard. I'm here for that flower thief. You don't live in that town anymore? Night Sorrow asked after entering the yard. We don't live there anymore. The environment here is good, so we moved here. The blacksmith said. Night Sorrow knew that the blacksmith and Mrs. Luo had secrets, but he could not say it out loud. Otherwise it would be meaningless. He took out the last jar of 100 herbs wine and said, Uncle, thank you for giving me the sky-piercing spear. I have nothing to repay you with, so I can only buy you a drink. I like your temper. Come, let's drink. The blacksmith said with a smile. After drinking the jar of 100 herbs wine, the uncle's face turned red. This blacksmith uncle loved to drink, but he could not hold his liquor well. Uncle, take a rest. I still have to look for clues. Night Sorrow stood up and said, "You go to the north. There may be clues there. I was going to take a look. Since you are here, you can handle it." The uncle stood up unsteadily. "I don't have any more of that wine, but I have some other wine here. Leave some for Uncle." Night Sorrow left behind a few jars of wine that he had bought in Danding City, as well as a jar of Uncle Nio's strong liquor. Only then did he leave. "Second brother, did you see that? That brat's cultivation has risen to a ridiculous level." After Night Sorrow left, the blacksmith uncle rubbed his eyes and said, "Indeed. I've been to many places, but I've never seen a young man like him." Sister Luo nodded and said, "Now that I've met this kid, there's good wine to drink." "Not bad." The blacksmith happily looked at the wine jar left behind by Night Sorrow. "Are we really going to let him deal with that scourge? Could he do it? We don't want to hurt their child." Mrs. Luo looked at the blacksmith worriedly. "If he wants to do the mission himself, then he has to face the possibility of what might happen next. If something happens to him, then it's his fate." The blacksmith turned around and went into the yard. He did not continue the topic. Following the blacksmith uncle's guidance, Night Sorrow arrived at the north side of Sky Fragrance Town. The lake here was relatively shallow, and there was a water bamboo forest. Night Sorrow saw scratches on a few of the thicker pillars. Although there were 5 scratches, they did not look like they were made by humans. After looking for a while, Night Sorrow felt that they were left behind by apes. Could it be a perverted ape? Yi Shang muttered. He was a little shocked. He remembered the mayor's words. All of the victims had been scratched. With the blacksmith uncle's guidance and the traces here, he came to a different conclusion. It was not easy to investigate in the water bamboo forest, so Night Sorrow did not continue to investigate. Instead, he moved some distance away and began to wait. After knowing that the blacksmith and Sister Luo were not ordinary people, Night Sorrow chose to trust them. After finding a suitable place to wait, Night Sorrow sat down cross-legged and did not move. He knew that both the flower thief and the perverted ape would only take action at night. There were fewer people in the north side of the town, so no one noticed Night Sorrow. He cultivated until night time. At night, Night Sorrow took out his reincarnation spear and hid behind a bamboo bridge. He did not know if the situation would happen tonight, but waiting was his only choice. In the middle of the night, with the invasion of the night wind, a situation occurred. The water bamboo forest swayed, and a black shadow scuttled out from the forest and entered the town. Night Sorrow followed closely behind. He was almost certain that the black shadow was the culprit, but he still could not make a move. He had to confirm it first. After entering the town, the black shadow shuttled back and forth in the streets and alleys. Sometimes it would even run on the roofs at an extremely fast speed. If Night Sorrow did not use the dragon leap steps, he would have lost it. And this was not the full speed of the black shadow. Soon after, the black shadow entered a courtyard and did not come out. Night Sorrow also jumped over the courtyard wall and entered. Ah! At this moment, a scream came from the courtyard. "Stop!" Night Sorrow's body flashed and broke the window of the room with a kick. At the same time, he shouted loudly. "V Young, Z long time free of charge, read 2 novels." After kicking open the window, Night Sorrow saw the situation in the room with the help of the candlelight in the room. Just as he estimated, it was really a white fur perverted ape. At this moment, it was pressing down on a naked woman and was about to rape her. The woman was already unconscious. Seeing Night Sorrow, the white perverted ape pounced towards Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow brandished the reincarnation spear in his right hand and stabbed towards the white perverted ape. At this moment, there were 2 figures on the bamboo not far away from the courtyard. They were none other than the blacksmith and Sister Luo. The blacksmith and Sister Luo had communicated that the mission was Night Sorrow's responsibility. Whether Night Sorrow succeeded or failed, they would not care. However, if Night Sorrow failed, this flower-plucking scourge would have to be eliminated. Night Sorrow's reincarnation spear was powerful and heavy, but the white perverted ape was also very ferocious. Most importantly, it was fast. After dodging Night Sorrow's reincarnation spear, it pounced towards Night Sorrow. This was because Night Sorrow had mastered the chasing wind spear art. Thus, The white perverted ape was not able to get close to him. Hearing the sounds of battle, the owner and servants of the courtyard came out with torches. Back off! All of you back off! Night Sorrow knew that this perverted ape was very ferocious. Even if it did not kill its target woman, it did not mean that it would not kill other people. After shouting, Night Sorrow used the reincarnation spear with one hand. At the same time, he took out a sky-piercing spear. He needed to have equipment for close combat. This white perverted ape was too fast. However, the situation was different from what Night Sorrow had imagined. After seeing other people holding torches, the white perverted ape panicked and jumped to escape. Seeing the white perverted ape running away, how could Night Sorrow let it go? This was his mission. When he jumped up and chased after it, the reincarnation spear shot towards the white perverted ape. Immediately after, he raised his left hand that was filled with the energy of the myriad Tao tome. Chapter 169. The spear shot out by Night Sorrow's left hand was like a black lightning bolt. It instantly pierced through the air and shot into the back of the white ape. The white ape continued to charge forward. It could be said that the sky-piercing spear was carrying the white ape forward. The power of the spear was exhausted. The white ape continued to run, but it did not have much speed left. Night Sorrow threw out 2 more sky-piercing spears and killed the white ape that did not dare to fight. How is it? The sky-piercing spear has definitely found a suitable owner in his hands. The blacksmith and Sister Luo had already landed from the bamboo, but they did not approach Night Sorrow. Not bad. This guy is ridiculously strong. He killed it with 3 spears. How terrifying. Although Sister Luo was not satisfied with the blacksmith giving the sky-piercing spear to Night Sorrow, she still had to admit that the sky-piercing spear was fully utilized in Night Sorrow's hands. Along with the noise, the family that was attacked by the white ape came. They held torches and surrounded the white ape that was still twitching. Yes, it is the flower thief. It just came out of your house. Night Sorrow withdrew his reincarnation spear and greeted the slightly fat man in a brocade robe. Thank you, sir. I didn't expect it to be a beast. The fat man kicked the white ape twice. Yes. Everyone, keep quiet. Otherwise, it will greatly affect the reputation of the other victims. They might not even be able to live. Also, go and find the mayor. Night Sorrow waved his hand and chopped off the white ape's head. Keep your mouth shut. If anyone dares to make a sound, get lost. Now, clean up this place and invite Sir to the house for tea. The middle-aged fat man roared at the servants. Not bad. Blacksmith, you have a good eye this time. This child is ruthless, but he is kind-hearted and knows how to think for others. Sister Luo left after she finished speaking. She and the blacksmith wanted to kill the white ape, but now that Night Sorrow had dealt with it, there was no need for them to interfere. Mrs. Luo was satisfied that Yi Shang's words would have a great impact on the other victims. Indeed, if word got out that he had been defiled by a monkey, the victim would not be able to live anymore. The mayor soon arrived, followed by 2 elders. They were all highly respected elders in the town. After arriving, the mayor first apologized to Night Sorrow because he had looked down on Night Sorrow from the beginning. The 2 respected elders also expressed their gratitude to Night Sorrow. Mayor, I'll have to trouble you to give me proof that the flower thief in Tianxiang town has been eliminated, Night Sorrow said to the mayor. No problem, no problem. Bosqua, please entertain the Lord. I'll go and write the certificate. The mayor said with a smile. Now that the problem was solved, he felt relieved. The owner of this house, Mr. Gua, arranged for people to prepare food and wine. At the same time, the woman who had fainted from fright also came out to express her gratitude. Soon, the mayor came out with the written certificate and handed it to Night Sorrow. This matter is over. You can deal with the aftermath. I hope that the flower thief has been killed. There's no need to spread the news of the perverted ape and embarrass everyone, Night Sorrow said. Night Sorrow's words made the 2 elders who came with the mayor nod with satisfaction. They also thought so. No one would have thought of the origin of this matter. The previous victims did not say that the flower thief was a perverted ape. After all, it was too embarrassing. Night Sorrow cultivated in the room arranged by Boss Gua for a night and planned to leave. When he was about to leave, the mayor and the two elders came with people and gave Night Sorrow several rolls of top-quality brocade and silk. "We don't have anything good to thank the Lord. This is the best brocade in our town. It was woven by the best silkworms here dozens of years ago. It is also the best product in Tianxiang town in the past 100 years. We give it to the Lord as a token of our appreciation." The mayor handed several rolls of brocade and silk to Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow nodded and accepted it. "This is what I should do. It's not right to take your brocade. You can take it." After receiving the silk and brocade, Night Sorrow took out 2 gold notes and handed them to the mayor. He did not have the habit of taking advantage of people. "This is not appropriate. We want to thank the Lord. How can we accept the gold notes?" The mayor waved his hand and did not accept it. "How about this? The victims this time are all very pitiful. Give this money to them." Yishan handed the gold notes to the mayor, then cupped his hands and left. Before leaving the town, Night Sorrow went to see the blacksmith and Sister Luo. He had a drink with the blacksmith uncle before leaving Tianxiang town. The following missions were not difficult for Night Sorrow. In less than 10 days, Night Sorrow returned to Danding City. In these 10 days, Night Sorrow had experienced many battles and cultivated his Zhen Qi to the peak of the 5th level of Qi Gathering Realm. His myriad Dao Tome also reached the peak of the 3rd level of Muscle Strengthening Realm. Enforcer Dong looked at Night Sorrow taking out one mission item after another, and his eyes were full of praise. Even those in the late stage of Qi Gathering Realm and the early stage of Core Formation Realm did not have such speed. After receiving the mission points, Night Sorrow found that he was not far away from getting full points for the bronze token. He estimated that he would be able to do it after one more sweep. However, he did not plan to continue doing missions. There were no good missions in the second half of the month. Besides, he also wanted to break through. After leaving Tianji Tower, Night Sorrow went to Yang Lei's mansion. However, Night Sorrow did not see Yang Lei. He did not know where Qiushue was either. Night Sorrow went to the mayor's mansion and asked. They said that she was patrolling. At this time, Danding City was very lively. This time, the Medicine Valley wanted to recruit disciples. All the cultivation seedlings in the region had come. Some families and small forces wanted their disciples to enter the Medicine Valley. That way, they would have a higher chance of becoming outstanding. Not seeing Yang Lei, Night Sorrow returned to the Longquan courtyard on the Tianyu. After returning to the courtyard, Night Sorrow saw Aoi and Yang Lei drinking tea in the garden. At the same time, they were training Chu Ning and the other third-generation disciples. There were vines beside Yang Lei. "Ninth senior sister, I went to ask. They said that you were patrolling." Night Sorrow said as he sat down. "Yes, as long as I'm not in the mayor's mansion, I'm patrolling and checking on the situation in Danding City." Yang Lei nodded and said with a smile. "Not bad. Ninth senior sister is good." Night Sorrow gave Yang Lei a thumbs up. "Did the mission go well?" Aoi poured a cup of tea for Night Sorrow. "It went well. When I have time, I'll finish another mission. Then, I should be able to reach silver rank." Night Sorrow nodded. "Z update? Hurry up. You're really fast. You made those core condensation cultivators feel bad. As far as I know, you're the 11th senior brother." Yang Lei said with a smile. "That's because 11th senior brother doesn't like to do missions. Hai Luo, make some food. I'm starving." Night Sorrow shouted at Hai Luo and Luo Wei. After that, Night Sorrow took out the brocade and silk he got from Tianxiang town and gave them to Aoi and Yang Lei. However, he kept one for Sikong Chuyu. Chapter 170. Night Sorrow told them about the mission he received from Tianxiang town, and also told them about the blacksmith who gave him the sky-piercing spear. "I told you, that guy isn't an ordinary person. However, he doesn't have any ill intentions towards you," Aoi said. After eating with everyone and playing with the silver fox cub and Tianyu for a while, Night Sorrow went into seclusion. "This 13, I really have to hand it to him. He's going crazy," Yang Lei said with a sigh after finding out that Night Sorrow was in seclusion. "I remember that he asked eldest senior brother if he would open the spirit gathering formation after taking in new people. I think he's planning to eat the origin increasing pill before entering the spirit gathering formation. Master's requirement is for him to eat one origin increasing pill when he's in the 7th level of element gathering formation. His goal is very likely to be to eat the origin increasing pill, advance to the 8th level of element gathering formation, then enter the spirit gathering formation, Aoi said. If he's really going according to his plan, then he's really going against the natural order. Yang Lei felt that Aoi's words made sense, and felt that Night Sorrow might be planning to do so. In the room, Night Sorrow ate the highest grade origin gathering pill, and his true chi vibrated his dantian, expanding the capacity of his dantian. This was the basic process of advancing. Night Sorrow's dantian had accumulated enough true chi. Previously, he had worked hard to complete missions, and his cultivation was also very solid. As his true chi vibrated, the space in his dantian also became bigger and bigger. Even though there was enough space to condense the 6th energy halo, Night Sorrow did not stop his true chi vibrating. The bigger the space in his dantian, the more true chi it could store. After expanding his dantian to the limit, Night Sorrow began to condense the true chi halo. With enough true chi, Night Sorrow did not have to worry about failure when condensing the true chi halo. After 2 hours, the 6th true chi halo appeared. He controlled his true chi and condensed the 6th true chi halo. After 1 hour, the true chi halo began to rotate on its own. At the same time, Night Sorrow's chi became slightly stronger. The automatic rotation of this halo meant that Night Sorrow had entered the 6th level of element gathering tier. After stabilizing his cultivation base until dawn, Night Sorrow came out of his room. 6th level of element gathering tier. To go from the 3rd level of refining tier to the 6th level of element gathering tier in a year's time, this is too inspiring. You will become the idol of the new disciples of the sect. Yang Lei said. It was impossible for Night Sorrow to advance any further before the disciple recruitment ceremony. There were only 10 days left, so Yang Lei said this. A year ago at this time, 13 hadn't started cultivating yet, right? Aoi asked with a smile. They knew a little about Night Sorrow's past. Before Night Sorrow came out of Zhuyuan village, he was just a young hunter in the mountains and did not officially practice martial arts. I've started training. This time last year, I was already on my way from Red Flame City to Danding City. That's right. After stabilizing our cultivation for a few days, we'll return to the Medicine Valley, said Yang Lei. I understand. Actually, the disciple recruitment ceremony has nothing to do with me, said Night Sorrow. Indeed, but since you have contribution points, you can go to Danding Cliff to cultivate. That place tests one's limits and is very beneficial for one's cultivation, said Yang Lei to Night Sorrow. Then I'll go try it out later. Night Sorrow was very interested in this. He knew that he had some sect contribution points. The sect would give some contribution points to the king of the newcomers and the first place of the Yuan ranking. After chatting and drinking tea with Yang Lei and Aoi for a day, Night Sorrow continued to break through at night. He wanted to break through to the 4th level of the tendon strengthening tier of the Myriad Dao Tome and strengthen the dragon tendons on his back. The energy of the Myriad Dao Tome entered the tendons on his back, bringing about bone-piercing pain to Night Sorrow. Beads of sweat rolled down his face. Everyone was born with bones and tendons. Now that he had to forcefully channel energy into them, the pain was unimaginable. Night Sorrow endured the bone-piercing pain and continuously channeled energy into the tendons on his back, strengthening them bit by bit. This process was both painful and long. 2 hours, 4 hours. The intense vibrations of the tendons caused Night Sorrow to feel as if the muscles on his back were about to be torn apart. In the middle of the night, Night Sorrow finally finished strengthening the tendons on his back. Opening his eyes, Night Sorrow touched his back and felt it was sticky. Using the candlelight, Night Sorrow confirmed that it wasn't an illusion. The skin on his back had truly been torn apart and his fingers and palms were covered in blood. Without getting up, Night Sorrow ate a peak-grade energy gathering pill and cultivated the Sage Cauldron scripture. At the same time, he stabilized his cultivation of the Myriad Dao Tome and healed the injuries on his back. It wasn't until dawn that Night Sorrow got up. He took a robe and went downstairs, intending to take a shower and change. After a night of energy circulation, the wounds on Night Sorrow's back had already healed. When he walked out of the hall, he saw Aoi. What are you doing? Where did the blood come from? Seeing the bloodstains on Night Sorrow's white robe, Aoi frowned and asked. It's nothing. It's just a small problem when I was cultivating. Night Sorrow nodded towards Aoi and went to take a shower and change his clothes. When Night Sorrow returned, Aoi and Yang Lei were both sitting in the hall. Both of them had serious expressions on their faces, as if they were about to start a trial. Most see new chapter EB_X. I was cultivating last night to strengthen the dragon tendons on my back. The flesh on my back was a little torn, but it's fine now. Night Sorrow stretched and said, Okay. Be careful and take care of yourself. It seems like you've improved quite a bit. Yang Lei checked and found that Night Sorrow's blood was vigorous. There was no stagnant blood in his body. I improved a little last night. Night Sorrow nodded. Your cultivation intensity is too high. You have to rest today. Let's go fishing. Since you've caught the least amount of fish, we'll eat by ourselves. Yang Lei said. Ninth senior sister. Is your cooking edible? Night Sorrow smiled and asked. You bastard. How dare you talk about your ninth senior sister like that? Sixth senior sister. Tell me, what do you think of my cooking? After hearing Night Sorrow's words, Yang Lei pinched Night Sorrow's waist hard. 13. You can't doubt this point. Your ninth senior sister doesn't easily cook, but the food she cooks is really delicious. In the future, whoever marries her will definitely be blessed. Qing Ji said with a smile. I really didn't expect that. Night Sorrow rubbed his waist and said, It's a pity that your ninth senior sister isn't interested in our Tai Xian Peak's disciples. The disciples of the other peaks all take a detour when they see your ninth senior sister. There's no chance at all. Qing Ji said with a smile. You will. Sixth senior sister and ninth senior sister will find someone who loves you. Night Sorrow said with a smile. After playing for a day, Yi Shang went to cultivate. The result of the fishing competition was Yang Lei's loss. Her patience was not as good as Qing Ji's and Yi Shang's. After stabilizing his cultivation for 2 days, he followed Yang Lei and Aoi back to Medicine Valley. With Yang Lei's company, Night Sorrow went to Danding Cliff. There were 2 days before the apprenticeship ceremony. Night Sorrow wanted to try it out first. Chapter 171. Yi Shang saw the elder guarding this place in front of a bamboo building at the foot of Pill Tripod Cliff. Elder, I'm going to cultivate on Danding Cliff. Night Sorrow bowed to the elder whom he had never met before. Okay. I'll check your name and level. The elder looked at Night Sorrow and said. Night Sorrow told the elder his name and the mountain he belonged to. Then the elder told him how many merit points Night Sorrow had. Night Sorrow had 300 merit points. Climbing Danding Cliff would cost him 30 merit points. Cultivating for a day would also cost him 30 merit points. Night Sorrow didn't ask how he got his merit points. He nodded to Yang Lei and said, Senior sister, you can go back first. I want to try my luck here. Yang Lei nodded and said, Okay. The disciple recruitment ceremony is coming soon. No one will cultivate here and no one will disturb you. Night Sorrow started climbing Danding Cliff as soon as he reached the top. Ninth brother, the sect has informed us of your situation. Very good. The future of Medicine Valley depends on young people like you. Whose disciple is he from Taishan Peak? Why is he a heaven-level disciple? The elder with the aura of sunset asked. Elder Su, he is my master's 13th disciple. He came here last year to participate in the disciple recruitment ceremony. Yang Lei knew that Elder Su was old and had reached the end of his life. Yang Lei told Elder Su about Night Sorrow's situation. I remember now. He is the little guy who was at the 3rd level of chi refining last year. He made it to the end by sheer willpower. 1 year, only 1 year, and he has reached this level. I really can't connect the dots. Why is he a heaven-level disciple? Elder Su was still puzzled, but he knew that the sect wouldn't mess around. There must be a reason why Night Sorrow was treated like a heaven-level disciple. Well, to be honest with you, Elder, 13 found the lost sacred cauldron scripture in the Medicine Valley. Yang Lei didn't hide anything from this elder. He was already in his twilight years, yet he was still contributing his last bit of strength. This was worthy of respect. So that's how it is. No wonder the Tianding scripture that the sect gave me is different from before. If he really makes a breakthrough, he will be my benefactor. Elder Su looked at Night Sorrow, who had already begun to climb up Danding Cliff. Elder Su, don't say that. Everyone knows how much you've done for the sect. You don't owe anyone anything, Yang Lei said. After chatting with Elder Su for a while, Yang Lei left. She knew that Night Sorrow wouldn't come down for a while. Night Sorrow wouldn't let 30 merit points go to waste. In the main hall of Taishan Peak, Yu Yangyu sat in the main seat. The other higher-ups of Taishan Peak were also present. Gong Xian, the recruitment of disciples at Taishan Peak this time depends on you. I understand, Gong Xian said. Ninth brother, 13 went to Danding Cliff and stayed there? Yu Yangyu asked. He had just asked and found out that Yang Lei and Night Sorrow had gone to Danding Cliff. Yes, it will probably take some time. Yang Lei nodded. Ninth junior sister. Master will take over as Valley Lord tomorrow. Why are you letting 13 stay at Danding Cliff at this time? Gong Xian was a little anxious. It's fine. I've already told the Great Elder and the others that the ceremony can be held at Danding Main Hall. There's no need to be too extravagant. There's no need to be too ostentatious during this critical period. 13 can cultivate at Danding Cliff. I'm happy that all of you are successful, Yu Yangyu said with a smile. Yang Lei lowered her head and didn't say anything. She felt a little guilty. Night Sorrow didn't know about this, but she did. She originally planned to bring Night Sorrow to Danding Cliff to take a look, but she forgot about it when Night Sorrow stepped off the cliff. Ninth brother, you know me. I don't care about formalities. I'm happy that 13 took first place on the Yuan ranking. I'm happy that 11 took first place on the Elixir ranking. What's the use of just congratulating me? Yu Yangyu looked at Yang Lei and said. He could see that Yang Lei was in low spirits. Yang Lei nodded and didn't say anything. Night Sorrow didn't use his cultivation. He used his own ability to climb and directly reached 2,500 meters without any pressure. The scene that made him bleed last year didn't happen. Feeling okay, Night Sorrow continued climbing. When he reached 2,900 meters, Night Sorrow felt a little pressure. The first 100 meters were a natural moat for him last year, but it was nothing now. He used both his hands and feet to reach 3,000 meters. At this moment, Night Sorrow didn't use his true qi or the power of the myriad Tao tome. His body's strength was comparable to a level 9 qi refining cultivator. Elder Su, who was watching from below, was very surprised. He obviously saw that Night Sorrow didn't use his true qi. Above 3,000 meters was a forbidden area for qi refining disciples. Even if they had the ability to continue climbing, they could only reach a height of 3,300 meters. This was the record for qi refining disciples in the Medicine Valley. Yi Shang took out a wine jug and drank a mouthful of wine. He continued to climb up the stairs, one by one, until he reached the bottom of the stairs. 3,300 meters, 3,400 meters, 3,600 meters. At 3,600 meters, Night Sorrow started to feel the pressure. If he didn't use his true qi or the myriad Tao scripture's energy, it would be very difficult for him to continue climbing. The pressure from Danding Cliff continued to attack him like waves, trying to push him back. Night Sorrow poured his true qi into his arms and continued climbing. Although it was difficult, it wasn't a problem for Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow lowered his head and rushed up, just like how it was the first time he climbed Danding Cliff. When more than half of his true qi was consumed, Night Sorrow also rushed to the 4,000-meter platform. There was no pressure here, so Night Sorrow meditated to recover. After half an hour, Night Sorrow recovered to his peak and continued to climb up. This time, the pressure was greater. Night Sorrow felt a strong pressure when he reached 4,200 meters. Night Sorrow poured his true qi into his body. He roared and rushed up. He wanted to see how far he could go. When there was only a third of his Zhen qi left, Night Sorrow had rushed past 4,300 meters. At this time, he decisively used the myriad Tao tome's energy. This was because he knew that if he didn't use the myriad Tao tome's energy, he would only be able to climb to 4,350 meters at most. After unleashing the power of the myriad Tao's tome, Night Sorrow's climbing speed increased once again. One step after another appeared behind him. He's only in the 6th level of element gathering tier, but his blood and chi are boiling. Could it be that he can really break through the shackles of 4,500 meters? Elder Su muttered to himself as he watched from the other side of the mountain peak. L update equals fastest 3, top W. G_Danding Cliff was a cliff that seemed to have been cut by a knife. Less than 1,000 meters away, there was a mountain peak. This mountain peak was not pressurizing, but had beautiful scenery. Chapter 172. When he reached the platform of 4,500 meters, Night Sorrow climbed up with difficulty and laid down on the platform to rest. It was difficult for him to even straighten his body. After resting for a while on the platform, Night Sorrow forced himself to sit up. After taking a medicinal pill, he sat down cross-legged to recover. It was easy to imagine how difficult it was to recover while withstanding the huge pressure. This time, Night Sorrow took 4 hours. Standing up, Night Sorrow continued to climb upwards. Even though he had recovered to his peak state, Night Sorrow's climbing speed was not as fast as before. Climbing each step required a huge amount of energy. It was like a person who could run 10,000 meters, but the last 9,000 meters to 10,000 meters was also painful, because that was his limit. By the time all the energy in his body was exhausted, Night Sorrow had reached the bottom of the 4,600-meter staircase. Just like last time, Night Sorrow climbed up and laid down on the platform. Withstanding the pressure from the peak, Night Sorrow lay down on the platform and panted heavily. Anyway, he would not fall down if he lay down on the platform. After resting for a while and regaining some energy, Night Sorrow sat down cross-legged and took a medicinal pill to recover. At this time, Elder Su was extremely shocked. He really wanted to go and report to the sect right now. Ever since the establishment of the Medicine Valley, there had never been a disciple of the essence gathering stage who had been able to surpass this height of 4,500 meters. The best disciple had only touched the 4,500 meters of stairs with his hands, but had not been able to climb it. However, Night Sorrow, who was in the element gathering tier, had already reached 4,600 meters. After reaching 4,600 meters, Night Sorrow did not continue climbing, but began to cultivate on the platform. Because the sky had already darkened, Elder Su was a little conflicted. He wanted to report to the sect, but he was also worried that Night Sorrow would continue climbing recklessly. If he fell and no one caught him, he would be dead for sure. When the disciple who delivered the supplies arrived, Elder Su let out a sigh of relief. He hurriedly sent the disciple to the sect to inform the other elders to come. Sitting on the steps, Night Sorrow realized a great advantage. The speed of refining the medicine was extremely fast. Under the pressure from Danding Cliff, the energy in his body naturally resisted, increasing his refining ability. Moreover, the refined energy was also very condensed. A supreme-grade quintessence gathering pill and a leopard embryo tendon strengthening pill took him 4 hours to completely refine them. In the past, Night Sorrow would need an entire night to refine them. Under normal circumstances, Night Sorrow should have recovered to his peak condition after refining a supreme-grade energy-gathering pill and a leopard embryo tendon strengthening pill. However, that was not the case now. After resisting the pressure from Danding Cliff, Night Sorrow had only recovered half of his strength. 0ch Original Chapter K, Section N7. When he planned to continue eating pills to refine them, Night Sorrow realized that his body was absorbing the heaven and earth spirit chi very fast. It was not much faster than using pills. When Yi Shang had used the medicinal pills to recover, he had been fully focused on refining the medicinal energy, so he hadn't noticed it. Now that he had noticed it, he didn't use the medicinal pills. After using 2 hours to recover to his peak condition, Night Sorrow stood up against the pressure. He stretched out his arms and resisted the pressure from the top of the cliff. When he was in high spirits, Night Sorrow punched the top of Danding Cliff, consuming his true chi. Night Sorrow did not know that there were several people watching from the opposite peak. There were the Great Elder, Second Elder, Fourth Elder, Yu Yongyu, Su Chenbai, and the former Valley Master and current Grand Elder Hua Yunpeng. If he doesn't go crazy, he won't live. Valley Master, you've taken in a little madman, said Second Elder Qian Wu. What is he trying to do? Lu Qinyun did not understand. He does not want to continue climbing, and he wants to continue training. In order to find the feeling, he will consume his true qi, Hua Yunping said. After a few dozen punches, Night Sorrow felt that his true qi was being consumed too slowly. He opened his arms, and a cyclone appeared in his hands. One hand was true qi, and the other was the myriad Tao tome. Using the Zhanyu hand, Night Sorrow slammed his hands against the wall of Danding Cliff. Bang! Bang! A series of muffled sounds came out, but the wall did not suffer much damage. Only some dust was sent flying. After being eroded by energy for so many years, the rock of Danding Cliff was very hard. After sending out 2 palm strikes, Yi Shang continued to send out palm strikes. After sending out 4 palm strikes, Yi Shang could no longer use his Zhen Qi to send out the Zhenyu hand. His Zhen Qi could only support 2 palm strikes. Since he could not use his true Qi, Night Sorrow used the myriad Tao tome's energy for 2 more palm strikes. After exhausting all the energy in his body, he sat down and continued to train. Valley Master, if I am not wrong, he used 6 Zhenyu hand. Hua Yunping looked at Yu Yangyu and said, "It's the Zhenyu hand. When I was at rank 3 I started to train it. I could only use 1 palm strike at the beginner level, and 2 at the peak of rank 3. Yu Yangyu nodded. He did not refer to himself as I, because there were no outsiders here. He did not need to act like a Valley Master. This little guy has no intention of coming down. Then let him train here. 4th Elder, you and Elder Su stay here and watch." The Great Elder said. Back at Danding Peak, the Great Elder casually arranged something for Su Chenbai and sent him away. We need to focus on Night Sorrow's cultivation. Most importantly, we need to hide him. I am worried that someone will spread the news of him to the Golden Fire sect. Then it will be easy to kill a genius. The Great Elder looked at Yu Yangyu and said, "I will go and kill that traitor." 2nd Elder Qian Wu stood up and said, "No need. I have been in seclusion for many years. My cultivation is high enough, but my state of mind is not. Therefore I cannot break through. I will watch over this kid for a while." Hua Yunping said, "Martial uncle, is this appropriate?" Yu Yangyu looked at Hua Yunpeng and asked. Yu Yangyu was 1 generation younger than Hua Yunpeng, so he called Hua Yunpeng martial uncle. There is nothing inappropriate about it. This guy does whatever he wants. I like it. Hua Yunping nodded. Night Sorrow was in high spirits that night. After he had recovered, he went to work on his true qi and the myriad Tao tome's energy. Then, he sat down to cultivate. He was extremely excited. The speed of cultivation was too fast, and the results were very obvious. When it was almost dawn, Night Sorrow started to recover fully. He planned to continue his cultivation when the sun rose. This made Elder Su, who was watching, confused. 4th Elder, why is he not working on his cultivation? I think he is planning to recover to his peak state and continue his cultivation. We all know that the Valley Master was ruthless when he was young. I didn't expect him to be the same when he took in a disciple. That's not right. He is not ruthless. He is crazy. Lu Qinyun muttered. Lu Qinyun was originally unhappy that his disciple Ao Yushan was suppressed by Taishan Peak. But after Yu Yangyu took over as the Valley Master, his dissatisfaction disappeared. Overbearing? That was because he had the right to be overbearing. Moreover, Ao Yushan was in the wrong. You're tuning in to the Xiaofan's Wuxia Tales YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.